Today on the pod, we're talking to Joan, a method actor and Scratchers enthusiast. So, Joan, what do you like about playing Scratchers?
Well, as a method actor, it's about becoming the ticket. Scratching up, down, stage left, stage right.
So what's your motivation? Because your performance feels so real.
Oh, I was just tapping into my inner Scratchers.
Incredible.
Yes. Bravo me.
Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
Future Farmers of America here. They're going to be serving breakfast. It's going to be a great time. We'd love to see you here. Today and tomorrow, the action begins at 7. But, again, these hard-working Idahoans, what are they? They are here very early in the morning doing their very best to raise a lot of money to support the great Western culture. Hope you've had a great weekend. We're going to do our very best to get you rolling. Big news over the weekend, whether you're a UFC fan, a soccer fan, any type of fan. So we start with props to Jonathan Savage and DeBow because, look, these folks, they love the soccer. And now everybody loves the soccer because we won. We beat some team of whatever. Is it good for America? If people say that it is, I believe you. But you know something? We're almost only 11 Saturdays away from college football. That's right, folks. So you can have your time at soccer, and it gives Fox Television something to broadcast, something to do now that the NBA Finals are over. So really, we've got soccer, we've got baseball, and that's about it. Of course, we have rodeo, which kicks off tomorrow. A complete list of what's going on, what you can do, where you can go, the events on our website. We put that together over the weekend on KIDOTalkRadio.com. Big news happening in the world. We do have a peace deal, although some people are not embracing peace.
We don't have full details of the interim agreement. Mediators Pakistan say it'll be signed in Switzerland on Friday. Congratulations to all, wrote President Trump on social media, adding that he's immediately removing the US blockade of Iranian ports. Iran says it will implement the deal only when it's signed. The memorandum of understanding will be followed by 60 days of talks on Iran's nuclear program. The Pakistani government says the framework agreement includes ending Israel's military operation in Lebanon, but Israel insists it won't withdraw from land it seized. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
We appreciate that, Mr. Savage. You know, I was sitting there mesmerized by this peace deal. And, of course, people are going to have problems, going to have issues, going to have all sorts of things. But the bottom line is apparently the oil is coming back. We're going to have a big day in the stock market, not if you like oil prices. And, again, if you're the president of the United States, you sign that peace deal. Not only do you sign the peace deal, but you have your birthday and you have a world-class event at the White House. And you get this one-of-a-kind intro.
Welcome to UFC Freedom 250. Here is the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
So here you have the president coming out with Dana White and just seeing remarkable, just amazing an entrance. So it was just one of those things that will never, ever happen again. And it was funny. There's some great documentaries coming out. One of my liberal progressive friends said to me, you know, Kevin Miller, our crime-fighting attorney general, who this gentleman, because he's a liberal, is not a fan of, said that he's featured in these battles. And a lot of us, and you know, again, there's a lot of people that are in their early 20s. They weren't involved in politics during the Obama years. They weren't involved when the greatest cultural shift in America happened with Obama. And there was one man from Idaho, Raul Labrador, who was fighting for America. So he was surprised that our congressman, because this little kid was, you know, in high school at the time, our congressman was a prominent champion of freedom. And now that we have President Trump and we've got the high ground, you know, you have people coming out and saying all these things. And as I call them, the MAGA hunters, the the 23-year-olds, the 22-year-olds, and that's not a knock against them. It just shows you the world that we live in today, when you can be so astute that you can get on YouTube, build up a following by ripping people. It's the reverse Ben Shapiro is what it is. And really what I'm getting at is people forget that it was Barack Obama that gave us Donald Trump. And even CNN, even almighty progressive CNN, they were going back and forth about the Obama legacy because Juneteenth, he opens up his presidential library. And it's the first time I've ever seen any of his supporters say this. They said, really, what is his legacy? What is Obama's legacy? Because Donald Trump has pretty much erased it all. Think about that for a moment. Despite the criticisms, despite the problems, despite everything, Donald Trump has pretty much wiped away the legacy of Barack Obama. And again, the Democrats really don't have a leader. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But you think about, if there had been no Obama, would there be a Donald Trump? And the reason why I say that is it all goes back to the White House Correspondents' Dinner when President Obama decided to take a shot at Donald Trump. And people that are close to the president, people that are political observers, people who get paid to get on television to talk politics, have said that is the moment that Donald Trump said that he would run. Now remember, he had run for the presidency before, but it wasn't really that serious of a threat. He was beaten out by Pat Buchanan as a Reform Party candidate. He lost the nomination to Patrick Joseph Buchanan. See, years later, Trump decides to run. Everybody thinks he's a joke, and there we have it. Amazing when you think about it. If there were no Obama, there would be no Trump. And each, the yin to the other's yang. Now, Biden would like to say that it's he and Trump are the worst, but really it was Barack Obama. And to take a shot at Donald Trump, because if you're Barack Obama, you're the president of the United States, you have all these things going on, and you sit back and you say to yourself, oh, no big deal. But it is. It is. But I thought I'd give you some insight. My man Dylan, here's the issue I have with my boy Dilly Dylan. I have a nephew named Dylan. Maybe I'll just call you my little nephew. He just texts me, and people send me emails. It is a talk show. It's not texting. So if you would like to talk, we would love to talk to you. And saying about Obamacare. Well, if the Republicans had listened to Trump in the first term, they would have gotten that one. Donald Trump has exposed a lot of people. Remember, it was the Republicans that said, well, you give us a president, we'll do it. And then we gave them a president, and they didn't do it. All right, let's get back to a couple of other things. And there are a lot of people that are going to be running this today. Clay and Buck will run it. Maybe Sean Hannity will run it. Lars will run it. But during the UFC event last night, there was a very unique fighter. I can't even remember his name. But what he did, basically, like a lot of those fighters, he can fight and he can talk. He actually was a running back for Fresno State. Big running back from Fresno State. So last night, Josh Hokett said this about the former First Lady.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That's the magic of the UFC. They do and say whatever they want. They do and say whatever they feel about. And, they can do this because who's going to tell them no? Who's going to tell them no? Now, for me last night, being a public figure, being the man that wears the strap on Idaho's first radio station, I said to myself, guys, as much as a lot of people that eat steak, 18 to 34-year-old males, this is not helping our cause. But again, it's a different time. and there's going to be outrage. We'll see if people cover it. We'll see if the Obamas respond. But clearly, this would be something you would hear from the liberal loons. You're at the White House. You just want to fight against a much larger man, and you do this.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm sure people will be talking about his comments as opposed to the deal with Iraq and Iran. By the way, if you hear stuff behind me, we have the 4-H kids out here. We've got the Buckaroo Breakfast. And what I love about this event, and this is a labor of love, we petition Mike Owens Promotions year after year to come out here, and Mike Owens Promotions says, sure. And we're here a couple weeks before the Boise Music Festival. Obviously, we want to support that free event. But for $7, you get a great breakfast. And whether it's here or in other places, but this is our home event. I love it when I get in here at 5:15. You have families dressed up, ready to go. Blue jeans, T-shirt, cowboy boots, farmers ready to feed the community. That's what I love about this. And then you have the red shirts that all volunteer. So they work their jobs and they run this thing without being paid. You're new to Idaho, it's a way to stop by. And I come at 7 when no one's around. Around 8 or 9, it usually fills up. I think this goes till 10. Yeah, they all want to get done before Kevin Miller gets a chance at the food. But as I'm sitting here watching these folks, it's really what it's about. Kids, families, community, volunteers making a difference. So thank you once again to everybody here at the Snake River Stampede. 580-5436-580 KIDO. So we'll continue to celebrate Western values. Already, David Ignatius from the New York Times had this to say.
But first, David, I want to get your impression as well as Richard's on this temporary deal we've reached, and we don't really know exactly what's in it. My concern is, if you look at the language of the deal on nukes, which Donald Trump said this is why he was fighting the war, it is identical, as in plagiarized, as in lifted straight off of Obama's deal. They used the same words. They lifted it off of the Obama deal and put it on this deal on nukes. So the whole idea that Obama was weak on nukes and he's going to be tougher, if you even read the language of this memorandum of agreement, it's identical. Then you can talk about the okay, well, here's Obama's. Iran affirms that under no circumstances will Iran ever seek, develop, or acquire any nuclear weapons. That's July 14th, 2015. Republicans melted down. Donald Trump said it was the worst plan ever, that Iran was going to get a nuclear weapon because of this deal. And this is what Donald Trump says. Iran cannot develop or purchase a nuclear weapon. And actually, it's actually closer than that. I will get it, but it's the identical language. And then you have Donald Trump saying, "Oh, the strait will be open forever for free." Well, no, that's not what the Iranians are saying. There's a 60-day period, and then they expect to start receiving tolls. Regime change. The president had said earlier that we had regime change. Now he's saying he doesn't care about regime change. This regime tougher than the one before, which was pretty bad. And you can just go down the list of what I'm waiting for, talking about the other shoe to drop, is it going to really be reconstruction money for the Islamic Republic of Iran? It sure sounds like it. What does this sanctions relief look like? Because the Trump team told me that Biden giving sanctions relief to the Iranians was the worst thing he ever did. So again, a lot of confusing things. I hope we have us a good, solid deal that keeps Iran contained. Right now, I'm seeing nothing in here, but that would do that. But maybe you can assure me that I haven't read deep enough into the memorandum of understanding.
So there we have it. Now, if you're a person that you're on Fox News, you're doing your very best, you're saying this is a great deal because it alleviates a major talking point. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk to some friends here at the Buckaroo Breakfast as they get ready. We're just less than an hour away from opening. Big events over the weekend. Obviously, the World Cup. Obviously, UFC, the president's birthday. And by the way, people are criticizing the president, saying, oh, the president is old. He's this, that, and the other. Did you see him walk out? Did you see him state for the event? Did you see how much those fighters loved him? So, again, we'll continue to focus in on giving you the truth. Coming up next, a prominent former Trump associate says, the moon landing or the UFC? And again, please join us this morning. I believe we're going to have the East Coast Millers will be joining us, which is always fun, always exciting to see them here. They flew in last night. They're very excited. They've got their tickets for 2 nights for the rodeo. We will also have perhaps an appearance by Tea Party Bob, maybe other prominent officials as well. We are live at the Buckaroo Breakfast. Kevin Miller, 580-KIDO. Shout out to Big John. Apparently, I didn't say where we are. We are here, the site of the Snake River Stampede, getting ready to roll, getting ready to run. We're about 40 minutes away from the Buckaroo Breakfast. Talking about a lot of things here. Phone lines are here for you at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So we're here today till 10, tomorrow till 10. And as I said before, we always appreciate being out in the community. We always appreciate the opportunity to be with you. And, you know, year after year, I've been blessed to be here. And sometimes the schedule works, sometimes it doesn't. Last year, it was a little challenge that we weren't here, but we're back. And I can remember when I first got to town and we would do these things, there would be our great friend Larry Gebert. And I always want to make sure that I'm giving props to really the king, Larry, who year after year would come to these events, other events. You know, we do our share, but Larry was out every day, sometimes teching it himself. So an homage, a tribute to our friend Larry Gebert, also to other people that have been with this show, Constitutional Jack, Farmer John, rest in peace. We love you guys. Thank you for believing in us over the years. And I can remember year after year, we would have television stations, 2 or 3, and then we would have 3 or 4 radio stations, and they've all gone away, but we are still here because it's not about being seen, it's about showing the community. And by the way, Ugo will have a lot of great videos of people preparing as we see the Idaho eggs, we see the kids getting ready. So going to be a great breakfast at 7 o'clock. It's $7, and it goes to a great cause, really supporting the future farmers of America. Peace deal has gone on. If you're excited about that, we can get your thoughts. If you're a little skeptical, we can get those as well. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Here is Chris Christie.
You know, I obviously have been witness to a lot of interesting things that Marco Rubio has said over the decade or so. And you know, this is the poison of working for Donald Trump. That you think you have to get, every time you get behind a microphone, you gotta figure out a way to kiss his behind. And so here he is talking on UFC being comparable to landing a man on the moon.
At some level, he said. I didn't say which level.
I don't care what level we're talking about, John. There's nothing comparable to it. But this is part of the Trump obsession. He wants, and these guys know this, and Marco knows it, anytime he can be mentioned in the same sentence with President Kennedy, his heart swells. He believes he's in the status of the greatest president.
Okay, and by the way, I have said this 17 times, breakfast is until 10. So whether it's Big John or my man Bo, I have said breakfast is till 10. Have I not, Ugo? Exactly. Ugo is not even listening to me. He's next to me, and he said, Kevin Miller, you've said breakfast is until 10. So it's until 10, Big John. And as we can see, here are the red shirts coming out hopefully to surround us. So top news stories, peace with the Iranians, UFC last night, and of course, you have at 580-5436-580 KIDO, Team America versus the world. Speaking of Team America versus the world, Hakeem Jeffries has a problem answering a question. Hakeem, what say you?
Ask you the big news this week out of the Senate. Graham Plattner winning his primary in Maine. Of course, he has faced allegations of being physically threatening to ex-girlfriends, which he denies, among other controversies which have followed him. Here's a campaign ad being run by Senate Republicans. Take a look.
Susan Collins doesn't have a Nazi tattoo, and she doesn't have an account on a notorious predator's Paradise app. Graham Plattner did for years, and this was his profile picture. Oh gosh, please, get that off the screen. Anyway, Susan Collins, a senator we can be proud of.
Does Graham Plattner have the character to be a U.S. senator, Leader Jeffries?
First of all, I thought you were going to say the big news of the week is the Knicks winning the NBA championship.
We're going to get to that,
for the first time in 53 years. I appreciate that. In terms of the Maine Senate race, listen, the voters of Maine are ultimately going to be the ones to decide what's in the best interest of the people of Maine. At this period of time, I'm just focused on making sure we take back control of the House of Representatives. So we actually have...
Yeah, there we have it. Hakeem Jeffries not answering the question. And that's what you'd have to do if you're them. We're going to let the voters of Maine decide. If they want this guy who had a tattoo that wasn't good, we're going to let the voters of Maine decide whether or not control of the Senate is worth selling our souls. So much more coming on at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We'll hear from Al in Ontario coming up. We'll get your calls. 580-KIDO. Let's get you to work safely and on time. We are going to talk to you at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. The Snake River Stampede kicks off, tomorrow, but you can get a taste of it today at the Buckaroo Breakfast. Number 1, number 2, Slack, I believe, begins this morning as well. They had a little last night. And, again, the kids, the family, the breakfast, I see the pancakes getting rolling. 7 o'clock is when it officially opens, but I think if you stop by early, you can get some great flapjacks, sausage, and, of course, Idaho eggs. You get to go into the Ford Idaho Center. A wonderful time. Let's go to Al in Ontario, who joins us now on 580-KIDO. Hello, Al.
Good morning. ¿Cómo te está yendo, Hugo? Good to have you there. Hey, Friday, Kevin, I must tell you, okay, you had the greatest show probably in the entire nation when you had Bob on there doing his soliloquy. Okay, talking about the Tocqueville. Nobody puts anything on the air like that.
What? Hold on, wait a minute. So the greatest show ever was Tea Party Bob yelling at me, as opposed to you yelling at me. And by the way, if my friend Beverly from Dr. Lyle's office is listening, Beverly, please don't let Al chase you off the air. Beverly, you did a great job with me with all my tests. Please don't let Al take you away from us. So, Al... right now, you should apologize to Beverly and say, Beverly, please, Beverly, let me allow you to educate you with my brilliance.
Okay, sure. So Beverly, hopefully you're not one of the Marxist feminists. And if you're not, and you really understand how our nation is in decline because of Marxist feminism, which has totally perverted our entire society, our financial economic system, our military, and everything else, well, hey, you can be on board with me. Because basically what I'm really talking about when I'm talking about women, and I'm really talking about, in generalities, there are some women. And, of course, Kevin, remember, the Kevin Miller Show is what? It's not just opinions that are male or female, that are feminine or masculine, okay? We have all of these opinions, so, we basically, say all kinds of things, hopefully, just like the UFC. You talked about the UFC, and people say what they want. To some degree, we do that here. And you know what? We're not a status quo bozo. That's why people like your show, not because you get these status quo bozos on there. Okay, look, President Trump is not a status quo bozo. See, that's what differentiates him, and that's what Eric, and I don't know, Kevin, maybe, all this marijuana smoking, that's what you and Eric don't understand. Okay, Ron DeSantis.
Now, first of all, I've never had a toke of weed in my life, so you need to retract that statement on me. Now, if you're talking about the wild man in Cuna, he and I agree to disagree on the weed, but I am not a weed lover, buddy. You know that.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying, Kevin. Okay, so this is conceptual. Okay, so listen, certain ideas, not necessarily, you don't actually physically have to engage in weed smoking. You just engage in a system of unlogic. Okay, you don't use logic. That is like being a weed smoker. Okay, so if you can't engage in logic, not a physical smoking of weed, okay, but what it is, it's just a metaphor for smoking weed. Okay, in other words, you can't engage in logic. So you and Eric, in your not being able to have a system of logic, okay, ratiocinative and inductive, what you do is you say silly things like that. Okay, what you really need to do is listen to what Bob said on Friday, because it was so important. Okay, I went directly to my copy of de Tocqueville, okay, Democracy in America. And when we listen to what de Tocqueville said about our failed nation right now, he said that the crowd of similar and equal men in a democracy will emerge an immense tutelary power, which will create a new kind of despotism, right? And what does it do? What does this new kind of despotism do? Okay, that Tocqueville said it extinguishes, it stupefies, and finally it reduces the nation to nothing but a flock of timid and industrious animals, of which the government is the shepherd, and the people don't even know
Well,
it.
Welcome to the morning show where Al reads de Tocqueville. Thank you very much. Thank you, Liberal Steve, for also letting me know there are people talking. Yes, they're cooking breakfast. That's we're outdoors. We're not in the studio. Al, do you have anything else, or is it back to the way it was with Al?
No, what I'll talk about, everybody needs to listen to the Feminism did this. This gal by the name of Rachel Wilson explains the paradox of female happiness. 26% of females are on antidepressants. Okay, she wrote the book, Occult Feminism. Okay, her mother was a radical nutcase Marxist feminist. Okay, and you go watch that podcast on YouTube on Jack Neal podcast, and listen to what this lady says. She has 4 kids. She's very happy, but her mom was a radical feminist. Her dad was someone who could actually think, and she went with her father, and she's happy as she wrote this book. Smart lady. Okay, and she's basically one of those females who can think. Unfortunately, what happens is we get so many females, what they do is they engage in nothing but emotional thinking, right? And emotions, and they want security. Okay, over.
Well, I think we've lost Beverly as we've lost Al. Al, thank you for the call. Yes, you're right about that, Sweet William. Let's make sure that we give away tickets to the Boise Music Festival. A family 4-pack can be yours when we give you the cue to call between now and 7 o'clock. We're live at the Buckaroo Breakfast, proudly supporting, again, the future farmers of America. Don't forget Sean Hannity today at 1. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO.
KIDO Talk Radio.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
There's going to be a reexamination, reconfiguration of NATO and future alliances. Every Middle Eastern country will be happy. Every country in the region will be happy. I even think probably deep down China and Russia will be happy. Europe will be happy. They'll be safer. The continental United States will not be within range, and they won't have nuclear weapons to hit our country. Now, will Trump ever get credit for all the lives that we'll never be able to calculate he saved? No. But for those people that were willing to roll the dice for their children and grandchildren, you're the people I don't understand. Where's your common sense and logic? What part of Reagan saying freedom is but one generation away from extinction are you missing?
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, you've been hearing me talk a lot about Sig Sauer and the P365. It is the #1 selling concealed carry pistol in America today. Now, SIG is celebrating 250 years of freedom with an exciting summer promotion. When you buy any P365 pistol, you will get a free Sig Sauer everyday carry flashlight. This is one of the best everyday flashlights that you can buy. And right now, when you buy the #1 concealed carry pistol in the country, you're going to get that for free. More people are taking their safety and their family's safety into their own hands, and they're carrying firearms for protection and self-defense. And I can tell you firsthand, the P365, it's comfortable to carry. It's easy to shoot. It's an amazing firearm. On this show, we are a Sig Sauer family. Buy a P365 pistol, get a free Sig Sauer everyday carry flashlight. This offer won't last long. Buy today, or you can try the P365 Sig Sauer at your local range. It's all American. Just go to sigsauer.com/Hannity. Find a dealer near you.
KIDO Talk.
The Buckaroo Breakfast, our friend Hal joining us. Hal, the photographer. Hal, the man of the world. Hal, the man who all the ladies love because he took such great pictures. Good morning, Hal.
How are you this morning, Kevin?
Well, here we are, back in action, and we see people already getting breakfast here this morning.
Boy, they're in line already. It's not even 7 o'clock yet, is it? I don't know what.
6:46.
6:46. So we are 14 minutes away from that giveaway. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, we'll give them the cue to call, but more importantly, here we got to focus in on the mission. We've got a lot of kids here today. They come in. Sometimes some of these kids are here before 5. Getting ready to prepare breakfast along with their parents. And again, Hal, we've got a lot of new people. Maybe they're listening to the radio. Maybe they're listening to 580 KIDO. What's going on here?
Well, what it is probably one of the nicest fundraisers for the kids out here in Canyon County. All the food for the breakfast is donated. The kids come out and serve in the line. You were just talking about the great sausages. 2 little girls over here serving up sausages. They've got other 4-H kids flipping flapjacks, and it's going to be a great breakfast. This is always the first and second day of the rodeo. You can come down and have breakfast and watch Slack, which, as so many rodeo people understand, is just the extra people that don't fit into a regular performance. So it's all the same cowboys, it's all the same great names, but they come down and do what's called Slack, and they'll be here roughly all day. And the kids are here from 7 to 10 serving up breakfast. And like you said, every year we come back, and here they are a couple inches taller.
Yeah.
And enjoying life, always with a smile on their face and happy to serve. They won't let a cup go empty inside there.
Yeah. No, they won't.
That cup gets empty, there's orange juice or coffee right there for you. And these kids are right on the ball.
You're right about that. And sometimes we see actually some of the contenders. We've got our friends that will be passionately annoying us very soon. Legitimate country and western, not country artists, country and western from the old school.
That's right.
And these folks, it's a labor of love, and it's a labor of love and passion with me and them, because once they get going, it's very tough to concentrate. But again, very unique.
And for your listeners, you're talking about Boise Music Week. This is the music of the Stampede Breakfast. It's a bunch of people from one of the, I don't know how we say it, assisted living, care facilities,
right.
Retirement.
Right.
Anyway, they've got a band. They've got an old bedpan.
Wait a minute, we take them out from the home?
That's right.
Is that what you're saying?
They come out and entertain. And some years, where's Ethel? Well, she went home to see her family. And so, but we've got a regular group. There's an old wash bucket bass and
you said a bedpan.
A bedpan fiddle, you bet.
Multi-use bedpan.
Yeah, it's not a single use. That's exactly right.
Now, I've got to ask you, though.
It's basically 2 purposes.
Thank you for that in-depth discussion on the bedpan. However, there's a lot of work that goes into this. You all are very prominent in the community. You travel around the country to get the tips, to bring the action here to Nampa. This is the Super Bowl for the Snake River Stampede. Some would say for the city of Nampa, you've got this event, then you've got a week, then you've got God and Country with the fireworks. So what do you what amount of work goes into this? We just see you guys running around with the red shirts.
Well, actually, let me back up just a little bit.
We're not going back to the bedpan.
So many of our volunteers, and let me just go back 1 week. We just finished and finalized the 25th annual Eagle Rodeo. Sellout crowds all 4 nights, and a lot of the volunteers that are here this morning with the Snake River Stampede also go in and donate time there. So if you're a rodeo fan, you have the Eagle Rodeo this week, all week Snake River Stampede. Next week we jump over to Meridian.
Hold on. Actually, Al, if you had been listening, I had previewed Eagle Rodeo all last week.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you what an event that was. 25 years. And the fun thing is 25 years of Eagle Rodeo, 250 years of America. And now we get to kick off on those heels celebrating America.
I just need to talk about this one, Hal. I mean, you're running wild here. This isn't – I'm not taking a photo for you here, sir.
I'll be back with my camera. Don't worry.
He's already taken over at 580 KIDO. So back to – the event.
Back to all the volunteers here.
And that's very nice of you to mention the Eagle Rodeo, a little dusty for me, and the Meridian Rodeo the following week. It's great that you all could coordinate because this is rodeo season. But really, see, to me, this is my favorite.
This is the who can argue with climate-controlled rodeo situations?
Exactly. I'm a sissy. But I love this event, and I've been here for years. So I really understand or try to understand this is a lot of work that goes into this.
There is a lot of work. And we've had meetings here for months just getting prepared. We kick off with meetings down in Las Vegas at the NFR. And a lot of our board members, we travel down there. We've got PRCA meetings, and then we have regular meetings where we plan for this year's rodeo. And it doesn't stop and won't stop again until we get back to Vegas, kind of do an assessment of everything that's happened here this week. But, boy, we've got a huge crew of staff and volunteers here at the Snake River Stampede. And like you said, it is one of the gems of Canyon County, the city of Nampa. So many things going on with the growth out here in Canyon County.
I don't really view it as out here. I live very close to here, so.
And it's not out here anymore.
Yeah, no, I the Boise people, they know.
Well,
I'm not down with them. I would be out here permanently if I could. So, but again, you've broken it down. But tell me a little about getting, every year you've added stuff. You have a pre-show dinner. You have a post-show concert. You have events before. You have all these things going on. That's a lot of work, like coordinating, selling, getting people to buy in.
Well, that is a lot of work and a lot of coordination. And as you mentioned, you can come out here and in the plaza area, the amphitheater area, every night. We were finding out that we were selling out, and there were people just standing here listening to the rodeo because it's broadcast out here live. And
sure.
Anyway, so we put a big screen down in the amphitheater. They can pay a discounted price and come down and start partying, so to speak, and watch it on the big screen. We do have live music every night for dancing and entertainment. There are food vendors and boutiques for the girls to go see all kinds of great Western wear, etc. So a lot of coordination, a lot of moving parts. And I think it's the vision of our board of directors now, taking us, ever higher and higher. Like you said, they go around the country and, from Rodeo Houston down to San Antonio and see what works for them down there and bring ideas back. We've also, like you just mentioned, Pink on the Dirt on Wednesday is a big, big fundraiser for our cancer awareness, our Stampede for the Cure.
Sure.
And anyway, I want to go backwards again. Are your granddaughters going to be here? Because this is a family-friendly day with our folks with the bedpan.
Wow, it's so funny. I believe the little Alleys are booked to be here. I know my parents fly in every year for this, so they've landed here. They should be here this morning. I believe they'll be here today and tomorrow. If not today, definitely tomorrow. Well, those little girls don't tell me anything.
They don't. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they plan on being here, and I don't know if you've watched. I know you're busy on the radio every morning, but they're over dancing every time.
They steal the show.
They actually steal the show, yeah. The three of them come out and dance and have a good time. Your wife's always got the grandkids always dressed to the nines.
Yep.
And as I said, family-friendly.
Yes.
And a tradition. Your parents fly in.
They do.
I see it all the time. People have it on the calendar. We're going to be at the Stampede.
Yeah, it's always funny because you have Dorothy, who dresses very appropriately, Finley, Charlie, Blakely, and their mom, Kara, all dress appropriately, and I'm here in my kickball outfit.
Well, it reminds me of it reminds me of the show, yes, and I'm not wearing any pants, because you're always behind the counter. You got the great KIDO T-shirt on, but we never know if you're in a swimsuit, trunks, the BVDs. Just don't know what's going on behind the table. Folks, I'm here to tell you he's dressed appropriately here today.
I know I don't have a cowboy hat, but however, hold on, Cowboy Calvin. More coming up. Let's give you a chance to win those tickets to the Boise Music Festival. Caller 10 at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We've got Cowboy Calvin. He'll join us coming up next hour. We've got Hal joining us. You're not done yet.
Okay, all right.
You know, I talked a little bit about this earlier. Years ago, we would have 2 or 3 TV stations here. We would have several radio stations here. But the one person, Hal, and you know this better than I, that we miss year after year is our beloved Larry Gebert.
What can you say about that guy, huh?
Larger than life.
Not enough words. Totally reminiscent when we get here to the Stampede Breakfast, the Buckaroo Breakfast, that he was here before anybody else setting up. He had his guy, he had several assistants that would come around with him.
He had Teresa, the most notable, yes.
Absolutely. And, yeah, as far as service-minded, I think we lost one that for the ages will hard to recover that. Larry Gebert, we appreciate you. And no, you're probably watching over us right now.
Yeah, probably saying, well, Kevin, why aren't you doing this? Kevin, why aren't you doing that? He was just, a remarkable human being. And Hal, as we know, sometimes we live in this ADD world. We forget those people year after year that gave so much, as you do.
Well, that I don't hold a candle to what he did. It was my opportunity to be behind the camera when he was here. And I've got so many shots of him at so many different activities. The Caldwell Night Rodeo, obviously the Stampede, but he was everywhere, and every morning he was somewhere else. And to get on his calendar, I don't know if you're aware of this.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
You better call for next year to get him on your calendar.
To get him on Miller's Mission, I had to schedule a year out for both events.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's absolutely right. He was very popular and very missed.
Yeah. And if you never had a chance to see Larry, you can check him out on YouTube, but he always set the standard. He was the standard. And Larry had you and Larry both, you love the rodeo queens.
They are a beautiful bunch of girls,
and
talented ambassadors for the rodeo, and they'll be here all this morning.
Oh, yeah, they're here.
I believe Miss this is great, Miss Mississippi, and that's not a stutter. That's Miss Mississippi, I think, is here with us.
MISS.
IAPPI. That's right. That's exactly. A lot of MISs.
By the way, congratulations to Brad winning those tickets to the Boise Music Festival. So, to recycle what Hal has told us, Eagle Rodeo was very successful last week. Meridian Rodeo coming up a week after this one. This week is a big one. Hal, anything else you'd like to share with us?
I would like to point out that I had a good friend named Daniel Dops. He was a bull rider, and about 21 years ago, actually died riding a bull. Bull came over and landed on top of him. They were doing the Daniel Dops Memorial Rodeo, same days as the Treasure Valley Meridian Rodeo. That's next Friday and Saturday out in Mountain Home. Want to pay respects to my good friend Daniel Dops and his family. We talk about Larry Gebert, but we've also got rodeo cowboys that are, mountains of men, of course. And I was going to mention, too, if nobody ever had met, the listeners that haven't met Larry Gebert, when we talk about a tall man in the saddle, the guy was 6'7", and every inch of that was superhuman, Larry. And so I don't want to say goodbye without
KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. It's really tough to focus in on just the news of the day because we're here hanging out. We're here just watching people eat breakfast. We're here worlds away from the president jetting off to the G7. We're worlds away from the Iranian deal. We're worlds away from the World Cup. But here we are, and very proud to be here year after year, looking at all the families. And when we talk about hope, and I was talking to a friend of mine last night, lives in California, and she was saying to me, Kevin Miller, this is just crazy, and the world's going to end and everything else. And I'm going, that's why we live in Idaho. It's the antidote to this, where people can come in, work hard. A lot of these people, a lot of these volunteers either take the day off or they work in the morning and then they go to work. And it's interesting to see people from out of town, because this is one of the top rodeos in the country. And you can see people that are competing. You can tell by their boots, well worn, that sort of thing. And again, the great thing about this is instead of going to your usual place for breakfast, nothing against that. Let's say it's a fast food place or something of that nature. You can come here and get some good food. Cowboy Calvin's already loaded up with the eggs and the sausage and the flapjacks. And it's nice to see kids. When we talk about the future of the world and you get scared, come out here and have a great breakfast. Kevin Miller with you, taking a look at the Iranian peace deal. Let's take a look at this right now. Here's our own Trey Yanks talking about it. Now, the liberals are going to say this is the same thing as the Obama deal. It isn't.
During the Obama administration, it allowed Iran to continue enriching uranium. And the way that uranium is enriched, the uranium ore is actually extracted from the ground, and then through a chemical process, it turns into yellow cake. And then another chemical process, it turns into hexafluoride gas. And they spin that gas very rapidly in advanced centrifuges. And ultimately, the heavier particles go to the outside and the lighter ones stay in the middle. And this is repeated over and over again until you get to a higher purity of enriched uranium. And to take enriched uranium from, let's say, 5 to 10% to 20%, ultimately to 60%, and eventually 90%, which is weapons-grade material, can be a matter of weeks, if not days. And so allowing the Iranians to keep advanced centrifuges and then enrich uranium, eventually closer to weapons-grade material, set them on a path toward a weapon, because that is a process that is needed to create a nuclear weapon, even if they weren't doing it at that moment. This agreement does not allow the Iranians, according to this senior administration official, to keep any of their enriched material.
Yeah. So you don't get to keep the enriched material. And really what it comes down to, dear friend, and what it comes down to at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, is whether or not the Iranians want to be part of the world community. And what we're trying to do, what the president is trying to do, is through the Abraham Accords, stating and saying, what we're going to do here is we're giving you an economic opportunity to join the League of Nations, to make money, to engage in the world. And if you don't, the world, the Arab states, Israel, can't say much about NATO, we're going to destroy you. Now, some have speculated that they can't destroy us. Some have speculated that they can. We'll see about that at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And that's one of the things that we will be discussing. But as I said before, we are here at the Buckaroo Breakfast. We've got Drew with us. Drew, you got to flip that around here. There we go. And you got to take off your, yeah, okay, you're not going to take off the cowboy hat. I get it. Okay, well, hello and good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, and who do we have here with us?
This is Dylan with 4-H. I brought her because she knows everything.
Now you're really killing me here with the microphone all over the place. Okay, there we go.
We're settled.
Yes, thank you. All right, we've got Dylan with us. Dylan, how are you?
Good.
All right, fair enough. Tell us what's going on, Drew.
We've got the Buckaroo Breakfast as part of the Snake River Stampede today, Monday, and Tuesday, 7 to 10 at the Idaho Center.
Yeah, you get excited about this. This guy's all over social media year after year for this.
Oh, yeah.
Got to promote it. Got to get people here.
Sure. Yep. That's why we're here with the radio. Tell us what's going on. Are you cooking?
We are cooking and serving.
Hold on, a little early. I mean, you've got a great smile, but it seems a little early. We're rolling here. Hold on. We could get you some sausage. I bet that would. Or are you a little cold?
No. Just
okay.
Been here since 4:45 this morning.
What causes you to do that?
The kids. We're raising money for the Canyon County 4-H kids to be able to go and participate in camps and get scholarships to go to national competitions and conferences, Congress, all kinds of.
Sure.
Lots of opportunities for them out there that this helps to support.
Well, thank you very much, Dale. Good to see you. How do you get these kids to do it?
A little bit of coercion. No. No, when they apply for scholarships, they let us know how they would like to pay it forward. So, they sign up And I mean, many of them just come because it's fun. They enjoy it. They like to be in front of the people and serve and be behind the griddles and kind of get their faces out there, say hi, make friends.
Yeah, no, it really says a lot because you have the families coming in. You have everybody taking it very seriously. Half the time they've got their T-shirts tucked in with the belt buckles and the cowboy boots. And it really, I was just speaking about this earlier, we live in a political world and everything is dreary. On the other hand, if you really want hope, come out here and have a great breakfast for only $7. But to see the kids, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, they're pretty hard workers. The 4-H kids usually are. They spend their summers doing hard projects and earning their money. So
yeah,
the way I look at it is, if you like to eat, you should support 4-H.
I'd say
we do a lot of that.
Yeah. Do you guys have like an unlimited package? Come back for more and more.
I mean, there's another $7 you can
there's another
drop in the bucket over there.
There's another option. Drew, what about Stampede Week? What does it mean for you? We were talking to Hal earlier about how it, this is, you just don't throw this on. Year after year, you add things. You've got the post-rodeo concert. You've got people that can watch the rodeo outside. You've got the pre-show dinner this year. That just doesn't happen.
Right. It takes all year and a board and a lot of volunteers and a lot of coordination. But, it's celebrating agriculture. It's keeping our Western heritage alive. It's professional rodeo, entertainment.
Sure. What's that like coordinating logistically all these people that come in from out of town?
I'm going to have to talk to the production team.
You guys are killing me here. We're going to have to go back to politics in a minute. Anything else you guys would like to share?
Come out and see us. 4-H kids will be here all week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And supporting those scholarships. I mean, what are the 4 clovers? What are the 4 points of the clover?
Oh, my gosh. I'm a professional here. What are the 4 clovers? No, just kidding.
They're head, heart, hands, and health.
Excellent.
That's what the 4 H's stand for.
The values of 4-H.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep going? You're doing a good job here. You are?
That's why I brought her. She's got all the details.
The ringer.
I'm the clutch.
I see.
There you go.
Well,
there's Hal. He's waiting.
Well, no, Hal's already given us the history of the rodeos coming up, the Eagle Rodeo, the Meridian Rodeo, the Mountain Home Rodeo.
Yep.
But, it's, again, logistically, when you have all these people come in, that's tough. I mean, getting this place open so early.
Oh, yeah. We were here bright or early and dark.
Yes, when there's no lights on. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were here yesterday setting up the griddles.
Yep.
And getting the food prepped.
Oh, yeah.
You see, that's what I wanted to hear about.
You want to go take a tour of the cooler and show you the stacks of sausage and the eggs and the...
My goodness. All right. Well, one more time, anything else you two would like to share with us this morning? It's been very lively and very knowledgeable here.
No, we're good.
No, I just appreciate everybody that does come. And if you've never been, that's the other thing. There's free Slack in the arena this morning, so you can watch the pre-performance, pre-rodeo.
Sure.
Yep.
And you had some yesterday too, right?
We did.
Yep. And we got some tomorrow.
Oh, boy. I'd watch out for this one. She'd put me to work. She's got the whole schedule ready to go here. Yes.
I do.
Well, all right then. Well, thank you both for joining us. Great job.
Thank you.
Job.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. More coming up next. Kevin Mill in the morning. KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers here, 580-5436. 580-KIDO. So again, how do we go from what's going on here to world events? We're going to try. Don't forget, tickets to the Boise Music Festival can be yours when you're caller 10 at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Now, that's not a cue to call now, but when you get the cue, call in. So we've heard from Trey what the real deal is. Here you have somebody from MS Now saying this is a bad deal. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MSN, for once again joining Team America.
I want to start by saying I'm glad that peace is here, and I hope that it lasts. I hope that this can be sustained because it is the only way out of a terrible, stupid war that we never should have been involved in the first place. So that.
Let's break that down for a minute. A terrible, stupid war that we never should have been involved in the first place. She hosts one of these weekend shows. It's three people just spouting off. Now, today she's the expert. Yesterday she's going, is it a good deal? Well, of course it's a good deal. It opens up the Straits of Hormuz because so many people were so angry and so upset about it. So many people are saying, oh, Kevin Miller, the economy is going in the tank. Donald Trump did this. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. So we get a deal. We're going to get the nuclear material. And by the way, if we don't, we're going to hear about it first from the liberals. And the liberals are going to say, well, see, it's a bad deal. But I love this. A horrible war. Elise Jordan or Elise Stefanik or Elise from CNC Music Factory, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is, because imagine what would happen if you were in Iran. You would not have the same rights that you do today. Yes, Tea Party Bob breakfast is $7. They're serving till 10. Tea Party Bob being the highly touted fiscal conservative that he is.
That peace is here, and I hope that it lasts. I hope that this can be sustained, because it is the only way out of a terrible, stupid war that we never should have been involved in the first place. So that aside, Donald Trump is doing this out of political desperation, because across the country, people weren't exactly clamoring for war with Iran. They weren't saying, oh, let's go do that. They were complaining about price.
I think it's a generational thing. I really do. I think it's a generational thing. And you have the younger generation that didn't grow up with the Iranian hostage situation. You have the younger generation that really doesn't view Iran as any more of a threat than Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Kuwait or Israel. And they have a different view. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But this is what's going to go on. He's desperate. He's this, that, and the other. What happens, again, when affordability comes down and the Republicans retain the House and the Senate?
Already, and then you look at the gas spikes around the country, and this is just a moment of political desperation where the headwinds have really sunk in, and Trump knows he needs some exit. He needs to try to save face somehow, and if the war ends, save face, do it. Let's just move on from this, because it was a total mistake.
Total mistake, showing the Iranians that we mean business. By the way, the Iranians have tried to close the Strait of Hormuz forever. You can ask Jeff Bacon. You can ask security guard Mike. We've had to have patrols in there again and again and again. Oh, by the way, from fake ABC News that we ran out of the Treasure Valley, here's what they had to say.
Nationwide average for gas has dipped below $4 a gallon as road trip season heats up. Elizabeth Schulze is at a gas station in Washington, D.C. Good morning to you, Elizabeth.
Good morning to you, Robin. Oil prices are sharply lower this morning on news of that deal to reopen shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. And already we are seeing some relief here at the gas pump. The national average for a gallon of regular gas, now $3.99. It's the first time it's been below $4 since April. In about half of all states, mostly in the South and in the Midwest, gas is already below that $4 marker. So for perspective, the cost to fill up a mid-sized SUV like a Toyota Highlander, on average now $72. 1 month ago, it was $81, but before the war, it was $53. So we are still above that pre-war level. We have seen the U.S. and other countries dip into their oil stockpiles to try to alleviate prices, and the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve is actually now on track to reach its lowest level since 1983. It will take months to replenish those reserves, so the key for gas prices from here is how quickly we actually start to see tankers moving through the strait. If there are no clear signs that that oil is coming back onto the market, we could still see gas prices go up again this summer. Mike.
Do you see how they do that? Do you see how they label the good news bad? Do you see that? Think about that for a moment. We have gas prices going down. We have a deal with the Iranians, and if it blows up, it blows up. But, it's us against the world. And instead of, saying, well, you know something? This is good news. We're headed in the right direction. We have this issue here where the libs are attacking this. I look at the president, I go, why did he even come back? Oh, that's right, because they forced him to come back. That's right, they forced him to go at it. They weren't going to let him live in peace. Remember, and those of you that have been with us for a long time, he had to win or he was out. And we're not talking about being out. We're talking about being in jail for the rest of his life. Economically ruined. Remember your chance to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival. We're going to hear from Cowboy Calvin. We did have some rodeo queens. We are here at the Buckaroo Breakfast today till 10, tomorrow till 10, proudly supporting the future farmers of America. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. And we're getting ready for the country and western people. And once they do that, it will be a challenge to maintain our on-air sanity. But that's part of the passion of the Buckaroo Breakfast, being out here till 10 today and tomorrow, the Ford Idaho Center. Cowboy Calvin is with me. Cowboy, I'm going to put you on the spot. I already know the answer, but is this your favorite rodeo or not? I know you have many.
I can't say that I have a favorite rodeo. There's some better than others, and this is one of the rodeos that's at the top that I enjoy.
Well, and a lot of people don't understand you, but you are a cowboy. You've been on the circuit.
Yes.
You've ridden these bulls and broncos and all these things.
Been there and done it.
Yeah, very dangerous profession.
Well, it is, but we all train for it, Kevin. We make it look easy. It's like I'm not much of a golfer, and I admire those guys that can do what they can do. They make it look pretty simple, but it's all training. There's a certain amount of luck, but it's you got to give the credit to the cowboy or the cowgirl, and the other element of that is the horse they ride. You're no better than that horse.
Cowboy Calvin, when you take a look at now, you are our Caldwell correspondent. So when you take a look at this rodeo, it really kicks off the season, and then the Caldwell one that really almost ends the season. Can you compare them? I mean, they all work great together.
They all are PAC endorsed rodeos, so you have the best of the best coming in there. You got guys come from Texas, Oklahoma. They're good. Not to say that the Idaho guys aren't great, but the competition's wonderful. You get a good show.
Well, that's the thing that gets me is I would love to learn about these people that are like a young Cowboy Calvin that are on the circuit. Maybe they, obviously some of them bring their horses, but if you're riding the bulls, if you're riding the broncos, you don't have your horse, and you travel from circuit to circuit, and if you make money, you make money, but if you don't make money, you don't make money.
Right, and those fancy trucks and those big horse trailers, there's payments to be made, and so you got to win. You got to win.
And here we have, these young farmers, these young kids, old farmers and old kids as well, but here 4 o'clock in the morning cooking the breakfast and ready to go. It's amazing.
Yes, there's a lot of young people in here helping out, and they're doing a wonderful job.
But in the age of the TikTok and the digital smidgital, Cowboy Calvin, how in the world do we keep this thing going? I mean, I don't see any of these kids on their phones. I see them cooking and doing things that you should do.
Well, we all have different traits, and certainly, a lot of these young people come from the country, and they grew up around it. And, there's so many. I want to point out that there's a lot of cowboys out there that ride the range, and they're the real ones.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of them, actually, that listen to us. Occasionally they'll call in, and we're very honored and humbled that they do that. And it's always amazing to me. They'll have cowboys on their horses, and they're listening to this program. So we're always very humbled by that. I see Big John. There he is. He's got his breakfast with his beautiful wife. So, again, the tradition continues when we say you can't get these kids off the phone. These kids are cooking eggs this morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do listen to the radio with my little transistor from the horse. It can be done.
Right. No, I'm with you. Oh, I'm with you. Cowboy Calvin, but what does it mean here when, you've been in the truck, you got to make the money to make that payment? There's a lot of people that they could be doing other things, but they love this. They love to compete. They love to be a competitor. They love the West.
Well, if you don't love it and enjoy it, and you're there for the money, you'll never make it to the top.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. You're right about that. And let's see if we can, Liberal Steve wants to call in, so we'll see if we can get him on. And by the way, we want to remind everybody, I'll give you the cue to call. Please don't call in to win those tickets now, because then we freeze up the lines and nobody can get in. So please be very patient with us. We do want to take your calls, but Liberal Steve, if you're a bad Liberal Steve, we don't want you on. Sometimes he says good things, and sometimes he just says whatever. You ever notice that?
I do. I don't know if that's because he claims to be an alien from a spaceship. It might have something to do with his mental state, but I accept him as he is.
Yeah. What's the most amount of pain that you have ever been in riding a bull or a bronco?
Well, I was in a race and I crashed and I landed on a pickup hood and I cracked my ribs and all that. I went from shortly from first place to last.
Now, I know you don't like talking about this, but you were in that movie. That movie that James Bond did was about you, was it not?
No, I don't think I was.
The horse racing movie?
Well, my life, I had a parallel life.
Well, it's okay, Cowboy. If you haven't noticed, everybody's focused on breakfast, so it's just you and me.
Yes. Yes, I did extreme downhill, what they call suicide racing, cross country. I entered the Tevis Cup one year back in the early 2000. That's a 100-mile race over the Sierra Nevadas. Racing against the best, but I was young and I got in an argument with the judge and they pulled me at 33 miles.
Wow.
I learned there's a time to keep your mouth shut, Kevin.
I wish I would learn that. I wish I would learn that. I still haven't learned that after all these years, sadly. But again, we invite people to come down. Are you here all morning?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
You going to hang out with me here?
Yes, I will.
All right, good. We're going to talk to you about Iran. We're going to take some calls.
While I'm doing this, I'm going to try to find a horse for you to ride.
No,
we got a photographer here, and we can get a good picture.
I will tell you this, that Canyon County Sheriff Kieran Donahue put me on his personal horse, and he still has a photo of that. Now, the horse has gone on to greener pastures. He loved that horse, and, there's a picture of me on this horse. It's not a very... I felt bad for... Everybody feels bad for the horse, so I think we're going to pass on me on the horse.
I'm trying to think. You said did the horse pass shortly after that incident?
No. The
Okay.
horse lived plenty of years after. All right.
Okay.
More coming up with our great friend, Cowboy Calvin. By the way, J.D. Vance is going to be on The View this week. You got to give it to the Trump people. They don't back down. I could see the president at the end of this actually deciding to go on The View. I could see the president doing that. I could see the president saying, I'm going to go on The View. And wouldn't that blow up? Of course, the problem would be it would give incredible ratings to CBS. ABC. Speaking of CBS, we've got people breaking down the worst moments of CBS 60 Minutes. All right, great moments here. We're here today and tomorrow. Would love to see you. Also would love to give you tickets to the Boise Music Festival. 580 KIDO, Kevin Miller in the morning, the Buckaroo Breakfast. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Worthwhile there, Cowboy Calvin. So Cowboy Calvin with me. Cowboy Calvin, the first of the Miller Militia to show up. We'll see if anybody else does. We've had Hal. We've had a few others. We're going to have our country and western folks that will be very loud here in a minute, so we apologize in advance for that. tickets to the Boise Music Festival on your way when you're caller 10, when we'll give you the cue to call. Let's go to Eric in Cuna, the Wild Man, on 580 KIDO.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Farming and ranching, I mean, that's the backbone of Idaho. I'd like to see the development of more farms and more ranching instead of stupid apartments going up everywhere. But wanted to.
Well, keep going with that, Eric.
No, I mean, without ranching and farming, we don't even have a country. So, I mean, we really have to respect the ranchers and the farmers because, they put the food on the table. And, I would suggest people go buy their meat from, local outlets, local butchers. That's where the good meat is anyway. So, and go to the farmers markets. That's what I've been doing a lot lately, and the food is much better by far. And we just need more farmers and more ranchers for sure. I've worked in ag a little bit in my life, driving truck a few years. I did work in ag a little bit. And without farmers and ranchers, we don't even have a country. So that's the way I see that. But I wanted to say something. I heard Al mention me. I love Al. I mean, I like his commentary, and he's entertaining to listen to. But he gets mad at me when I say that Donald Trump should be doing more to drain the swamp. And maybe it's in the works. Maybe he's waiting until after the midterms. I don't know. But I thought that UFC thing was awesome last night. That was amazing. Especially when that guy
I couldn't stay up to watch. Hold on, I couldn't stay up and watch the end of it. But you're going to agree with when the guy said that about the former first lady. You're going to go with that, huh?
Yeah, I've known that for a long time. I mean, it's common knowledge now. There's just too much evidence that is definitely true. I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory. It's true. It's 100% true. But it was pretty good. I mean, the fights were great. I thought the presentation with the military, I mean, that was awesome. I thought what Donald Trump did at the White House, that's amazing. And I don't know why people are complaining about it. I mean, what did Joe Biden do? He had a pride festival at the White House. I mean, give me a break. What did Obama do? Probably the same thing. They didn't do anything great at the White House, but push their political ideology of garbage. So Donald Trump put on a great show for America. And I think we should all be, standing behind America. And the ranchers and farmers.
Well, what'd you make of Al calling you out this morning?
I don't know what his deal is. I mean, what's he defending? I'm not sure. Maybe he needs to call back and clarify. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, no. One call is enough for that guy.
All I'm really saying is it's like what me and you were talking about the last time I called. They ran Donald Trump through the ringer with all these fake indictments and everything. Why isn't he going after these people like Adam Schiff, all the major players that we know are guilty of all kinds of crimes? The evidence has been everywhere. I'm just hoping there's some movement, there's some traction. I still believe something might happen. Somebody told me that he might be waiting till after the midterms. Maybe he's going to wait for that movement, but something needs to be done. I mean, Obama's been sneaking over to other countries and talking to world leaders. We got all kinds of shady stuff going on, and these people they need to be put out of business. They really do. They're just ruining our country. We know who they are. Some are elected, some are in the bureaucracies, but they need to be rooted out. And I was hoping that we would see some motion right off the bat. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Trump. They're doing a lot of good things. But if he really wants to save the country, you need to get those people out. They need to be convicted, prosecuted. We need to get our election straight. I mean, look at California. I mean, what a joke. That's not even an election. They're counting ballots, weeks after the election. And, it's wrong, and everybody knows it. I mean, there's no way all those lunatics that have been in power in California for so long, there is no way they got in there legitimately. California has been wrought with fraud for years. I can almost guarantee it. Allegedly. But
yes.
But yeah, Al's a good guy. I mean, I like what he says. I mean, he goes off and on a tangent, but I mean, he's entertaining.
Well, that's the idea. Eric, you can hear the band starting, and it's quite a lot of them this year. So thank you very much for the call. Wish you were here.
Hey, you better get on that horse. Just pet the horse and let him know that you're his buddy, and then get on that horse, Kevin. Ride that horse.
Thank you, Eric. Eric responding to Cowboy Calvin saying to get on the horse. All right. We do this every year. We're back. It's part of the magic. Just like David DeHaas is part of the magic. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. Let's go to Double D.
Paid for by Living Waters Wellness Center.
Good morning.
You should be
Kevin.
here. You should be here doing the hoedown, David. Can you hear the band playing? We've got our own personal band, and boy,
that's amazing.
Yes,
I mean, that's perfect. Well, as you know, it's rodeo time in America, where it gets wild and western. Where you don't want a rodeo is in your gut. The gut, your colon, and small intestine run with the synchronicity of a great orchestra until it doesn't, and then you have a disc hyphenese. Your gut is your second brain. Every organ in your body connects to the gut. Your liver, kidney, pancreas, heart, lungs, eyes, ears, shoulder, knees, legs, every organ. More neurons in your gut than your spinal column. The neurons are like little cell phones, firing and wiring the nerves to signal those organs. Look at a picture of your brain, your gut side by side. They look very similar. If your gut feels like a rodeo, don't let it buck you off living your best life. At Living Waters Cleanse, we use colon hydrotherapy and other modalities to help heal the body to heal. Learn more at livingwaterscleanse.com. Call 208-378-9911 to listen to the Whole Body Detox Show right here on KIDO 580 AM at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Can you use your thoughts and emotions to heal your body, Kevin? Well, my guest this week, Natalie Ledwell of Mind Movie, says, yes, we can.
David, this is supposed to be the minute, not the 3-minute David DeHaas.
Well, it was only a minute, but it's only 1 minute.
David.
Don't miss it.
Now, David, hold on. Before you go, I mean, you should be here. I'm seeing a lot of people that could be cleansed after the bacon, the sausage, the flapjacks. I'm seeing a lot of potential cleansers here, cleansees, if you will.
I know. That's what we do. We encourage that. That creates a problem. We offer the solution. See how we do
now,
that?
Speaking of the solution, what's going on this weekend? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to pod down my mic so people can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
What's happening this week? You didn't hear me either, huh?
No, I heard you, but I want to make sure that you get what's going on Sunday at 9. It's very important. We value you, and I just want to make sure that you're good, sir. So please tell us.
All right. Sunday morning at 9, can you use your thoughts and emotions to heal your body? My guest is Natalie Ledwell of Mind Movies and says, yes, we can. We've got examples, and it's really going to be a great show. Really big shoe, as Ed Sullivan used to say. Really big shoe.
Well, we appreciate you, David, and we love your passion. We love you, and you should see Cowboy Calvin. He's talking to the rodeo queens. Some things, I guess, are just meant for radio.
Well, tell Cowboy Calvin, come on in, and we'll clean him up, and we'll have a good time at the rodeo.
For a good time, David DeHaas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Paid for by Living Waters Wellness Center.
And here we are, the magic. The only thing missing is Liberal Steve, who joins us now at 580 KIDO. Hello, Liberal Steve.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. Thank you for everything you do. That is Buckaroo Breakfast is one of the better causes there in Idaho. Everything goes, the money goes where it should go, and that's a good thing. About Iran. Oh, come on. You know, when people reject honesty, it's usually, Kevin, because reality threatens their comfort or their ego. That's the deal. 38 times, Mr. Miller, 38 times Trump declared an imminent deal with Iran. I got an imminent deal with Iran. So we'll see where this goes. None of it should have happened to begin with. And Israel's totally against the deal. Totally. So we'll see where that goes too. And as far as that UFC thing, I've never enjoyed watching two sweaty men.
Now, hold on. Before you talk about your love of sweaty men and your time in the pen, it's funny. If the president is being a good president, he's taking orders from Israel. If Israel doesn't like anything, then Israel's mad. He can't win with you people. He can't win with you people.
That's because he has a bodyguard of lies. Surrounds himself with lies. It's terrible. He's such a facade. But that's okay. My fellow Americans voted him in, but it don't look like he'll ever do it again. So, yeah, that's just the way it is. Iran should have never happened. And our poor people out there, which is quite a few, are still suffering day to day with big, beautiful bills that raise their insurance to skyrockets. And with gas the way it is, and groceries, oh my God, they have to decide every day whether they pay the light bill or buy groceries. That's due to your, let's go wrestling and watch some sweaty guys and use taxpayer dollars to do it.
No, the UFC paid for everything. And by the way, if you saw the stunning visuals, as someone who has been to the White House on multiple occasions, it brought a whole different group of folks that would never get the opportunity to see it, as most of us did on Paramount Plus, or those fighters. And by the way, the president is reaching the real Americans, not you, not the woke, probably not the people that are singing, but he is reaching the real Americans. And you don't like that, because we're back now. We've got the straits open, we've got the oil coming down, we've got affordability back. We're back, baby. And what you're going to do when the president, Kevin Miller, and the Republicans retain Congress?
Yeah, I'll be there for that one.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Liberal Steve, with his little laugh. We are rolling right along. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. Why don't we do this? Let's give you a chance to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival. Remember, Lars Larson coming up next hour. We have Cowboy Calvin, perhaps Tea Party Bob, perhaps some others. Who knows? But we're happy to be here, blessed to be here. Don't forget, Boise Music Festival, your chance to win free tickets, right? Now, breakfast here is $7. It was great to see Big John and his beautiful wife. Again, it's really one of those weird ways that we kick off the summer being here in Nampa. Appreciate everybody having us out here. More coming up next. Remember, why don't we do this? Actually, I'm not going to go to break, Bo. I'll let you roll with them. Caller 10, 580-5436, 580-KIDO, your chance to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival. We will get that out of the way. Remember, next hour, the Larson. And we love it when we get the libs calling in, but the libs are afraid. They don't want to engage in the arena of ideas. I don't know really what they want to do, except the deal is bad. Is something better than nothing? You know, one of the things that I had a, how should I put this, an epiphany type moment is that myself, my production guy Rome does a great job. I highly recommend him. We spent our Friday at Peak Health, Idaho, and we were down there with Dr. Lyle, with his team, and the video that we shot, there's multiple shots that we have to get. It's one thing to say you're going to do a documentary on losing weight. It's another thing to actually see yourself, even though I've lost, after this weekend, 121 pounds with no shot, no anything. And that's through the old training, going back to the old ways. I urge you, as somebody called me the other day saying, what about heart doctors? I would go get your heart checked out. We've rescheduled the stress test for, Friday, just to make sure we're good. because we want to be here with you, and we want you to be here with us. You know, we've lost Rick Hogebaum. We've lost Larry Gebert. We've lost Teresa Palgrim because of heart disease. We don't want to lose you. We do not want to lose you. I don't want to lose me. So that's why I'm going through this. 121 pounds. We roll on. And Dr. Lyle, Beverly, Sean, what an incredible experience. And like I said, I've seen documentaries, and Jim and Star knows this. You know this. We're on our way to doing this 6 years ago through our partnership with Kristen Armstrong, Tommy Ahlquist, Poley, and the pandemic happened. It blew everything up. So I got heavier over the years, up to 367 pounds. Then I got the call from the cardiologist. It ain't looking good for you. At 56, 57, you're going to get a pacemaker. And hopefully that was the wake-up call. So 121 pounds later, we're at 250, 246. And like I said, Dr. Lyle has agreed to help. Dr. Noonan, High Desert, Jeremy Fricks, Primary Health. And this will be not an off-the-books project, but I just have to get enough guts to start releasing videos because it's pretty alarming. I have the videos of where I was at 367, but even now I have a long way to go. And if you have a long way to go, take care of yourself. Go see our friends at Peak Health Idaho or Pivot or anywhere. People want to help. There's no judgment. No judgment. Kevin Miller, congratulations to Howard, by the way. Howard, you're our winner this hour. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. How are you? Kevin Miller here. Yeah, we're on the radio. How you been? What's your name?
Jerry Griffin.
Jerry, good to see you again.
Just got to do all this stuff, right?
Yeah, you're looking good. Who's your friend there, little doggy?
Her name's Mesa.
Oh, Mesa, what a beautiful girl. Look at her, Aussie Shepherd. Yeah. Oh, she likes Tea Party Bob. We roll on here. I'm going to talk on the radio, but thank you. You're looking good. We're all looking good. Howard's a winner. Ugo's a winner. Tea Party Bob's a winner. We're dancing at the Buckaroo Breakfast, only in Idaho, folks. It's not a talk show. It's an old shoe. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. And we're here at the Buckaroo Breakfast. You can hear the band going. We've got Ugo. We've got tickets to the Boise Music Festival. But more importantly than that, we have Lars Larson, who joins us now. Catch him today at 4 on 580 KIDO. Lars, we're here with the people in Nampa at the Snake River Stampede. Good morning.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and if you need to rearrange the schedule, feel free to move me around. I'm okay.
Lars, we've moved you enough. I can pod down so the country and western band won't get in the way of your great content. We appreciate you, Lars, so let's begin. What do you make of the Iran deal?
I think it is a step in the right direction because we really have to get this thing over with. For so many different reasons. Number one, Iran can't be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Number two, we don't want to be at war, and endless wars were something Donald Trump campaigned against. I think he's still dead set against them, but he needs to get this thing wrapped up. The Iranians have not been very cooperative, but I think at the end of the day, their own people are going to benefit tremendously if they can get to the point where they can get along with the rest of their region and the rest of the world. Up to this point, they've made their stake by simply threatening to destroy the United States and threatening to destroy Israel for the last 50 years. And where did that get them?
Well, you talk to the libs, and the libs think this is, I can't believe this, Lars. And again, this is where age has an advantage, but you've got these Gen Z, the millennials, even Gen Xers, some boomers saying this was an unnecessary war. Lars, how can people say that? How can they even try to sell that?
Yeah, Kevin, unnecessary in what way? I don't know about you, and I don't know about the younger folks, but how many times have you either heard or seen in fiction or in nonfiction people question what would have happened if the world had looked at what was going on in Mussolini's Italy, in Hitler's Germany, in Japan, in all those places if we had acted earlier? If only we had acted earlier. And in this case, what you had was a president confronted with the mullahs and the IRGC that run Iran about to become armed with a nuclear weapon. And, if you think about where that would have gone, I've asked my audience to imagine this. Imagine a nuclear-armed Iran where they say, if you touch us, if you come after us and try and tell us what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, a nuclear weapon might go off in Mecca, a nuclear weapon might go off in a Western European capital, or a nuclear weapon might go off either at a U.S. base in some other part of the world or in the United States itself. Those are the sum of all fears, as Tom Clancy called it in his book. And so if you said, well, the president had a choice, he didn't have to go to war against Iran. I think he had to act. And I've been running that soundbite with Barack Obama saying we cannot allow Iran to become armed with nuclear weapons. So if you've got a conservative like Trump who believes that, a liberal like Obama who believes that, who is it that thinks it would have been acceptable to let Iran get nuclear weapons?
Well, obviously, the pundit class where they're spewing their venom, saying that this was Donald Trump's stupid war, that apparently they believe that the Iranians, Lars, were peace, love, and understanding folks, and Donald Trump just wanted to do this, which is crazy. It had to be done.
Wouldn't you think that the liberals who are constantly telling you how much they care about human rights of people around the planet, well, if you care about human rights of people around the planet, what about the rights of the people who live in Iran? You've got tens of millions of, I think it's about 27 million people in that country. It might be a little bigger now. But you've got all those people in that country, and their own country will slaughter them for going out in the streets and protesting what's going on. America, thankfully, has a proud tradition that we say you can protest. You can't go out and set fire to things, and you can't hurt people. But if you want to go out and protest loudly, go ahead. In Iran, you do it, you get a bullet in the head.
Our great friend Lars Larson joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Lars, we move on to the midterms, to the economy. Gas prices are going to be dropping. They've dropped already. Your thoughts, sir?
I think this is going to go exactly where it should go, which is better fuel prices, which translates not just to transportation fuel, but think about all the farmers and the ones who listen to your show on KIDO, and they're going to tell you fertilizer is a product of energy, diesel fuel that you run all farm equipment and all transportation over the road on is part of the economy. You start to drop those prices, will the change immediately translate to prices on the shelves? Not immediately, but fairly quickly it'll start bringing prices down. And I think that kind of relief is going to have Americans looking at, so our choice was Joe Biden, who did nothing about problems, and a president like Trump who actually acts to take on problems even when they're difficult. Now, it would have been, I want people to think about this. It would have been very easy for President Trump to have said, I don't want to get into a conflict with Iran during an election year, because I might just lose the House or lose the Senate. And in that case, number one, if he lost the House, the Democrats would be happy to try to impeach him again. That's a giant waste of time because there's nothing he should be impeached for. But they would do it anyway, despite the damage that it would do to the United States. So in that case, did Donald Trump go to war voluntarily? Did he say, I'm going to do this even though it really isn't necessary to go and act against Iran? Tell me what argument supports that Donald Trump did something completely unnecessary and that had the great potential to do damage to him politically.
Now, like I said, I don't think we've ever seen a media where they're actually cheering for the enemy, as we've seen, and the Democrats as well. They're just regurgitating the Democratic talking points. Lars, as we're continuing on here at 580 KIDO, our great friend Lars Larson joining us. Did you watch the UFC event last night? Did you hear anything about that?
I did not, only because I didn't have any aversion to watching it. I was just tired. We'd spent most of the weekend working at our little 8-acre farm and a lot of physical work, and so I was pretty done in. But it sounds like a great event. I mean, they got, 125,000 people who showed up instead of the 25,000 that they had expected. Turned out to be a big, successful event, and I'm sure that made the liberals' heads spin.
Well, And I know that you already know this, Lars, because you are the man, and when it comes to the sound bites, you're the man. But this is Josh Hokett last night from after he won his fight as an underdog.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
I thought that was hilarious. So it's not just Joan Rivers who said it, and I think a lot of people have questioned that. So I thought it was funny that he used a national stage to be able to say that. It's funny.
Pretty wild, though. We'll see if the liberals respond to that or not. And then another comment that, I was talking to a friend of mine, and it's funny, and this age thing, because we had people on one of the Sunday shows. You work on the weekends. I watch the shows. You actually work. I tell my wife I'm working. But they made an interesting comment because Juneteenth, June 19th, is going to be the opening of the Obama Presidential Library. Yeah. And people have said they really wonder about Obama's legacy. Now, still we have Obamacare. I guess that'll be the big one. But these are panelists on CNN saying effectively that Donald Trump has wiped out most of Obama's legacy. And so building upon that, if there had not been Obama, would there have been a Trump? Because people go back to the presidential correspondence dinner where Obama made a joke about the president. The president didn't take that very funny and decided he was going to run for office.
I think we might not have had him, although Trump has talked about running for president for decades. I mean, he's talked about it since long before Obama came on the scene. So I'd like to think that Donald Trump just saw an opportunity to go and do something for his country. And I've heard plenty of people bash on Trump over the last decade. And you think about it, how many people in his first term, his net worth went down by $1 billion, about a quarter of his net worth. How many of us would run for any office, say mayor of Boise or governor of Idaho, if you knew it was going to not just make you money, but actually cost you a substantial part of what you've built up over your entire life? How many people would do that? And God bless him for doing it.
Well, here's the other one. Here's the other one, though, Lars. Not only are we talking about costing him everything, he had to run again because they were going to put him away forever. We've never seen any type of person in American history targeted like that.
No,
he had to win or he was done.
Well, except for this, Kevin, if he had chosen not to run for a second term, I think the Democrats would have laid off everything, all the prosecutions and everything else. They only cared that he planned to run a second time and they knew he could win. They would tell the public he can't possibly win, but they knew he could win. So what they were doing was saying, if you're going to run again, we're going to do everything we can to destroy you. On the other hand, if you decide not to run for a second term, we'll lay off. You can go back to being TV personality, whatever you want to do. Just don't run for office. Now, imagine living in a country where one party doesn't have very many candidates of its own. I mean, think about this. Who do the Democrats have for 2028 that really stands out as a great candidate? They don't have anybody. Gavin Newsom, for God's sake, Kamala Harris. Oh, my goodness. So if they don't have anybody to offer and all they have is to bash on your candidate, and you say, well, hold on, you're not offering us anything of value, and you're telling us that you're going to dictate to Republicans and conservatives who they're allowed to have as a candidate? Is that really the kind of country that you want? And look what they've done to their own party. When Joe Biden ran in 2020 and did not win, he did not win that election, but he ran. When he ran that race, the party knocked his two competitors out. If you go back and look at what happened, he was not doing that well. He had lost Iowa, he'd lost a number of states, and his competitors were doing better. The party chose Joe Biden. Then they ran him. Then when they decided to kick him to the curb, which they did, they chose Kamala Harris. Did they give voters, even Democrat voters, a choice of who's going to be their candidate? No. The party dictated it. Now, think about that. This is as close to the politics of the old Soviet Union or, say, communist China, where the party decides who you're going to be allowed to vote for.
You know, Lars, I don't think, again, and the term I was struggling with was politically persecuted in this country, going back to the founding. But you bring up a great point, and I don't know if we'll ever find out. You know, we have Jonathan Swan and Haberman and Hagerman and whatever coming out with another book. But what about the inside deal that James Clyburn made to get Joe Biden in to win South Carolina? And then Klobuchar and Buttigieg dropped out. We've never seen the state of South Carolina in the Democratic primary matter at all. And in the Republican primary, obviously Bush and Lee Atwater set that up back in the day. But the deal made to put in Joe, and I think maybe he double-crossed them when he decided to run for a second term. But that deal that you pointed out, that changed the history of the whole country, if you will, number one. And number two, I mean, they feared Bernie again. They feared Bernie in 2016. They feared him in 2020.
Yeah, and they decided they could not allow a populist candidate like Bernie Sanders to win. Now, I'm not a fan of his politics either, but does a party have the right to dictate to the voters, this is who you're going to be able to vote for? Because if that's the case, do you know what I hope that some of the candidates who are going to run for office in 28 on the Republican side do? I hope they make it a theme to say, will the Democrats actually let Democrat voters choose this time around? Because they haven't let Democrat voters choose in a long time.
Lars, I wish you were here. You'd fit right in with not the country band, but this is like Boxcar Willie, country and western band, as you can tell by the sound.
I love all that music. I love rock and roll, too, but I've got eclectic taste. I like everything. I hope you have a wonderful time, Kevin Miller.
I'll have a wonderful time today at 4, sir. As always, appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to our friend Mitch. We're going to talk to Big John. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk to TPB in studio or at our remote studio. And don't forget your chance to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival. Caller 10 when you hear the cue to call. And yes, the band is playing, and we're rolling. Won't you join us? Kevin Miller live in Nampa, 580-KIDO.
KIDO Talk.
Our great friend Mitch joining us from Nampa Chamber. I see Mitch everywhere. I never get a chance to have him on. Mitch, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
Well, just in time for the band again.
Here we go. A little background music.
Yeah, year after year, here we are, hanging out, having a good time. And obviously the event is in Nampa, but it's more than a Nampa event. But your thoughts from a business perspective of how big a draw this is?
Yeah, it's enormous, and thanks for recognizing that, Kevin. And first off, it's great to see you here. It's becoming an annual tradition to see you here. I love seeing all the smiling faces and the kids dressed up. Huge for the Nampa community, the restaurants, the hotels, gas stations, car dealerships. You could keep going down the list. And it's great to see the business community get behind this event. But Snake River Stampede is a class act. They do a great job. There's no question.
No, and I don't even want to say this, but I'll say they outkick the coverage.
No question.
I mean, indoor rodeo,
yep,
which adds an extra element.
Yep.
Then a post-rodeo concert. They keep adding things again and again. Mitch, from the Nampa Chamber's perspective, because you study business, you help business, you work with business, how do you think they do this with just volunteers?
Well, only here in Nampa, yeah. I mean, some of these volunteers have been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, and then you see some new faces, and so the blend of some experience and new is great. I don't know how they do it, Kevin. I mean, I think I looked at my schedule this week. I'll be here a couple of times, and then I'll be running the concessions one night, and then there's Pink on the Dirt. Then there's the concerts out here, and then I think they've even added that new event at the end of the week, the Wind Down.
Yeah.
So they just keep adding and adding to it.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating that volunteers make this happen. They've got you working the booth now, huh?
Yeah, I can hand out some popcorn and candy and so forth. But for some people that don't know that, that's another good advantage for the communities. A lot of these service clubs get involved this week, and they come in and help man a booth for concessions, and then they get a percentage of the proceeds to go back to their charity and their service clubs. And so it's all hands on deck. Some of these people have been down here for the last week working extremely hard, and here we go. It's rodeo time.
It is. What do you make of the people coming in from all over the country?
I love it. Here it's in our backyard, but you start talking to people and it's on their calendars, and as soon as this year gets done, they book it for next year. Not only just the rodeo people, the fans and the friends and family of the rodeo contestants, but then other surrounding people. Yeah, I just ran into somebody here having a pancake that they come in and they visit their grandparents every time this year during the rodeo, and they purposely come to Nampa this week to visit family and then tie in the rodeo. So they're coming twice, and they were from Virginia.
Yeah, no, not only Virginia, but we've got, it's funny, my parents actually come in from New Hampshire every year for this.
Yeah.
Seriously, they buy their tickets, and every year. What does this do as far as the community? We've heard so much about growth, Nampa's growth. Everybody always says, Hal going out here. I go, to me, out here is not out here. This is, I live very close by. So your perspective on managing the growth, and obviously with Micron, that's blowing up everywhere.
Sure. Well, I was just talking to your friend here, I think Big John. Growth is the number one thing you hear from people. And so if I put my personal hat on, my wife and I drive into a restaurant, sure, we feel the pain too with traffic and everything else. But then back to you said, business community, if I put my chamber hat on, more people means more opportunities. It means business is hopefully growing and thriving and so forth. So people are coming, whether we like it or not. I just hope we all kind of work together to do the best we can to manage growth, to kind of project growth.
When you look at Canyon County, though, people always would say, oh, Canyon County. But to me, it's always like the undiscovered treasure, if you will. Have businesses found Canyon County?
Yeah, great question. I do the same thing. A lot of people used to say, oh, that business is in Meridian or Boise or Caldwell. In the business community now, we're all working together because it is just kind of become one big valley. And so I think those people that are willing to, break down county lines and city lines and say, let's just work together in the best interest of all, those will be the ones that will be successful and thrive. But I mean, as we said, growth is here, growth is coming. We need to either view that as an opportunity or let it bother us. And so I choose for that to be opportunity. Cities are either growing or dying, and Nampa is hitting. It's busy. It's busy right now.
Yeah, you take a look at the old Karcher Mall redevelopment. That seems to be booming, along with everybody has come up with their own retail concept, retail housing concept.
Yeah, for sure. Housing is going to be always a challenge. We were just side talking here before getting on the air too about farmland, that agriculture. That's always a big one. So I know that if we all kind of work together, we can come up with a plan. But growth and transportation are going to be an ongoing challenge for a lot of us. So I have to ask my friends and my family just to choose patience and view it as, again, opportunity. People love Nampa. We want to do our very best to keep Nampa the way it is. And it's people like you, Kevin, that come out here, and I listen to your show all the time, and you get Reverend Bill on here and all the community and mission work that you're doing. Those are the things that will continue to remind us why we chose to live here.
Anything else you'd like to share?
No, just kudos to you for being out here and all the volunteers, all the red shirts running around. The 4-H kids here are doing the pancakes, eggs, and sausage. Great community event put on by a lot of dedicated volunteers, and so it's going to be a great week, Kevin.
Now, Mitch, you need to get the Special Forces ribbon for working the concession stands. It gets busy here.
I'll do my best to hand out popcorn and M&Ms and not mess anything up.
No, I'm fascinated by, again, the growth of this event and obviously indoors.
Yes, for sure. A lot of people say they don't like, that they choose to, they prefer an outdoor rodeo until you come to this rodeo when it's 70 degrees inside and about 90 outside. And so, and then again, in a few weeks or months, people can go out to the Caldwell Rodeo. That's what's nice is we have both right here in Canyon County. We have some of the best rodeos in the country right here in our backyard.
Final question for you, but a lot has been written about the Idaho Center, who owns it, whatever. But the idea that we have this facility.
100%. Yeah, there was mixed feelings and emotions on that whole deal, but at the end of the day, people walking up here today, they don't know any different. And I know that CWI will do a great job in ownership and management. I know they have a great relationship with the Snake River Stampede board, and that they've worked out those details. And so I think the general public walking up here today won't know any different.
Yeah, but again, I just marvel at 1 week it's monster trucks, the next week it's Snake River Stampede. It's to have this and to have the accessibility, with all due respect, everything in Boise, it's congested, this, that, and the other. You can come from anywhere.
You said it, Kevin. I was here a couple weeks ago for a graduation. I'm here for a rodeo now. I think my kids and I are coming to a concert here at the amphitheater later in the summer. So they do a wonderful job. This is such an asset to our community, and we should be grateful that it's right here in our backyard.
Final thought?
Just happy rodeo week. It's going to be a wonderful week with a lot of volunteers, and just hope everybody stays safe and has a great time here in Nampa.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you.
More coming up next. 580 KIDO traffic. Let's get you to work.
For an exclusive interview ahead of the opening of the Obama Presidential Center later this week in Chicago. Now, before President Trump's announcement, I asked former President Obama for his thoughts on the war with Iran. He spent a lot of time wrestling with the threat of a nuclear Iran. How do you think things are being handled right now there?
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place and had worked for a long stretch of time before the United States pulled out of it. So I'm hopeful that bombing stops and.
There we have it, Barack Obama talking about his goofy deal where he bribed the Iranians. This one is no enrichment. We're going to get it. And if the money doesn't work, you're going to get the stick. Before we get to Lucille, speaking of the stick.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a big stick.
Thank you for coming down from your palace to join us commoners here in beautiful Nampa, Idaho.
You mean from my safe haven?
from something. Here we are. Wouldn't be the Snake River Stampede Buckaroo Breakfast without TPB. Now, we're going to go to Lucille, and then we're going to come back to you. Is that all right with you?
Love Lucille. Put her on.
All right, let's go to Lucille at 580 KIDO. Good morning, Lucille.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning to everybody who's having a nice, good time over there. I just wanted to comment on what Lars Larson said, and I'm glad he agrees with me, and I agree with him. Because, yes, this is complicated. Yes, maybe, Trump should wrap this up, but it had to be done. Now, what I'm pleading to those people on our side, I give up on Democrats. I don't expect anything good from them. But for people on our side who now are almost too willing to throw President Trump under the bus because they didn't get their pony. So let's see. Let's have a look at it, Kevin. Look, economy did not improve. Inflation is still high. Good. So let's go back to Bidenomics, shall we? That worked so well for us. And, gas price is still high. Good. Let's go back to Bidenomics. That was so good for the price of gas. And now some people are worrying that Trump is being too influenced by Israel. Well, we can always go back to Biden, to the Democrats, who will lift the sanctions on Iran, give them another $8 billion, and with any luck, there's going to be another October the 7th, and, this time they'll do it properly, and then Trump will not be influenced by Israel anymore. Is that what they want, Kevin? Is that what they really want?
I really don't understand the whole vibe of this was an unnecessary war. It's a stupid war. It's just basically stupid people that hate America. I don't really understand that at all.
I understand it. Because people don't want to make waves anymore. They want the easy way out. They would have preferred Trump to continue to kick the can down the road, and then it would have been another October the 7th, and everybody would have said, oh dear, how terrible, look what happened. But yes, of course, it can't be helped, That's what they want, Kevin. Imagine, Kevin, if this were the Second World War. Imagine, Kevin, when during the Second World War, people have had this same mentality, and they would have said, nah, this is going too long, Roosevelt is all wrong, let's throw him under the bus and, just give up on him. Where would we be now, Kevin? We'd be speaking German. But people don't think that because they are influenced by the blabbercrats and by the celebrities, but I repeat myself, who, Trump is bad. Yeah, Trump is bad. If you vote for Trump, you're bad. Oh dear, I'm going to be considered bad. I have to be against Trump. That is the mentality of these days, Kevin. I'm sorry to say it. I wish I were wrong. I don't think I am. So please do not.
I would agree.
I would,
but here they have, they're already saying how bad the deal is and everything, which is unfortunate. This president, this administration has fought the liberals, the media, and the Iranians.
Look, Kevin, when all these armchair generals, instead of, criticizing and throwing the president under the bus, if they are so intelligent that they have all the answers, I want them to shut the F up and run for office, since they seem to have all the answers, since they seem to know always what Trump should have done and he didn't do. And if they are so clever, they have all the answers, hey, I'm willing to vote for them. But then they will have to run for office, Kevin, because being an armchair general is very easy, isn't it? And going with the flow and going with the blabbercrats and going, with the celebrities and the infinite wisdom, that is much easier than standing up for your country and for your president and trying to put an end to a dictatorship that only wants us dead. I don't know if they ever think of that. But if they're so clever and if they have all the answers, please run for office. I might give you a chance. I might vote for you. How about that, Kevin?
I agree, Lucille. We wish you were here.
Well, I can't always tear off to Nampa. It's a bit out of my way.
I'm with you.
Next time, do something close, as I said, Kevin, and I'll be the first one to be there, and I'll be pleased to be there.
Well, fair enough, Lucille. Thank you for the call. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So the only person to outdo Tea Party Bob is the East Coast Miller, my mom. Do you want to introduce my mom here?
Hi there, sweetheart. How are you?
Good to see you.
Here you are, the highlight of your thing. I understand that. Well, yes, I know. Cowboy Calvin was playing with the buttons. So here you are from the East Coast. Once again, welcome to America.
Yes, it is America here. It is so wonderful. The sky is blue, and the Cowboys.
You're like traumatized where you live. Yeah. Every time you come out here, I'm back in America.
It's true.
Bob thinks this place isn't the greatest anymore. He left us, as you know.
I know he did. He went way up north in the mountains.
I'm hiding.
He went into exile.
Well, that's not where I would want to be in the mountains, but this is gorgeous. I love this.
Yeah?
It's beautiful. And people are nice.
Yes.
They're really nice. They're a lot nicer than the Easterners.
Really? People say Bob's really nice, and he's from the East.
Well, I've had 33 years to change.
I'm gonna have you pull your mic in a little. There we go, so we can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
It's tough to hear with the country western people.
Oh yeah, they're dancing. They're singing, having their jubilee over there.
So why do you come here every year?
To see you.
Oh, I don't think I'm the draw. I think this thing is. Why? So you love Idaho, you love the rodeo.
I do. I love the rodeo. I love the Cowboys. I love the Queens. It's all really wonderful here.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
Dad gets to wear his boots.
Yeah, he's talking to Cowboy Calvin right now.
Yeah, I know. He's busy.
Now, what about you? Are you a liberal?
And I'm so far from that. You know that.
I had some, yeah. People sometimes think I'm a liberal.
Yeah, they're out of their mind because you are not. You didn't fall far from the tree, let me tell you.
That and Pat Buchanan.
Yes, yes, definitely Pat Buchanan.
And
who did I drive around? I forget now.
Bob Dornan.
Bob Dornan, there you go. What a guy.
She's quite the networker. When we started this adventure 31 years ago, it was during the New Hampshire primary in '96. So I had one of the only local shows there, even though I'd never done this before. And part of it is she loved B-Wad Bob Dornan, congressman from California. And so she got to drive him around. And Again, that was her start in politics, although she'd been working in politics for quite some time.
I have. I still am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still out there beating the bushes for the right people.
Well, you can beat all the bushes you want as long as you're getting some progression out of it. But when it stops dead, and I've seen that happen in New Jersey, a state that I came from. I've seen it happen in Colorado, another state that I lived in. I'm just sorry to see all of these what used to be wonderful places to live turn into a pile of dog do.
Well, that's exactly how we feel about New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It used to be solid red. Now we used to be purple. We are blue. We are blue, blue, blue.
Yep.
That's another reason I love Idaho, because
You love New Hampshire? You're just going to...
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah, that's why another draw is Idaho. Idaho is so red. It's wonderful.
Well, you should be moving out here instead of just visiting.
Well, I know.
Yeah, they won't move out here.
You got to make the move.
I wouldn't move out here. I'd go back east.
Yeah.
I would. Oh, this thing is on? Yeah.
Well, everybody has a choice, I guess, at some point. But
Some of us don't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I fell into the trap as soon as I came out here.
Yeah, can't really leave.
Now, if we could just change some of the government here, I'd be a very happy person.
Oh, yes. You happy?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you've run presidential campaigns, haven't you, Mom?
I did. A couple. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all kidding aside, how good of a candidate would he be?
Oh, he'd be great. He knows everything about everything, and he knows the insides.
Yeah, no, I think that the last grassroots guy would be this guy, and I'm glad that he didn't do it. We had a talk years ago. But if there ever was somebody who could speak the language and could get earned media, it would be him.
It would be, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a big decision. I just could never put myself in that fishbowl.
No, and I admire those that do. I do.
Yeah, and a lot of them get basically burnt very badly, and that's the unfortunate part about it. Politics is a very strange business to be in, and it gets worse as time goes on because the criticism that comes out from people you least expect it is almost phenomenal. When I look at places like X or on Truth Social or any of these social media programs, everything's a soundbite, and everything is to make somebody look like they really aren't what they are. It's been transitional for the last 20 years. Politics has changed. It's no longer a story. As I said, it's a soundbite.
Well, more coming up. Mom, anything else you'd like to say? Thank you for coming here.
I love it. Thank you.
Hal asked who was coming. He wanted the little alleys, but I guess they'll be coming tomorrow. So, because they're quite the draw where they dance here.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'll see me back tomorrow, too. So.
Oh, wow. They'll see Bob back tomorrow, too.
Oh, you're staying that long?
Well, yeah, I'm going back tomorrow afternoon.
He's got a safe house here. All right, more coming up next. Kevin Miller, 580-KIDO.
KIDO.
We'll give you the cue to call. Caller 10. You're going to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival Family 4-Pack. Hard to believe we're less than 2 weeks away from the Boise Music Festival. A guy that's not performing at the music festival is TPB is in town. We appreciate you driving in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a long trip down here, but I enjoy coming down and spending some time with you guys.
Yeah. Now, did you come in last night or did you come in today?
No, I came in yesterday afternoon.
Well, that's good because it's dangerous on the roads at night.
Oh,
here.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea. And, I can remember when I first got here, and my wife says, how come they don't have any guardrails? I says, they don't have guardrails until you run off the road, then they put one up.
Yeah.
It's just like, why don't they have stoplights at certain places? And their answer is always, when there's a real serious accident, we'll consider it. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows. Why are our roads so congested?
Well, now you're bringing us down already. We've had a good morning here today.
I know.
That's really not your role.
But
your role here is we're not even talking about that. And, you can't contain yourself because, you just want to pounce. And I think we need to be warmed up for the pounce. By the way, You can join us at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You know, we take a look at this Iran deal, and you're probably the only person outside the governor and the attorney general and the congressman, both congressmen, I guess, outside of our elected officials that have dealt with Donald Trump personally.
Well, I will tell you this. What he is doing and how he's doing it is very typical of how he works. He doesn't tell everybody what he's going to do or how he's going to do it. And there are a lot of twists and turns in this as much as they are in his business deals. He's a crafty man, but he's a smart man. I don't think he has any thought process to think that this is a settled thing and that this is the end of it. I'm sure he believes there's going to be further complications and further misdirection, which is one of the reasons that he's holding back on the money and giving it out and doling it out in bits and pieces. You remember what Obama did. You remember what Biden did. They gave him enough money to refine enough uranium so that they could build 10 or 11 bombs. It's their fault that we're in the situation we're in now, but nobody blames them for it. They blame Mr. Trump because he's the one trying to solve the problem. They had no idea how to solve the problem because they weren't creative enough to do anything like a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Instead, all they did was send more cash and more gold over to appease them. That's plain stupidity. But then, of course, we have had stupid presidents now and then.
But remember, we've also had a media that has covered up for him. So, you know, we go back to this. Let me just share this from J.D. Vance. Do you like J.D. Vance?
I love him. I think he'll be the next president.
We'll debate that coming up. I think he's a gifted guy. He's going to be on The View this week. Congratulations to Tim winning those tickets to the music festival. Maybe if you're a good boy, you could be caller 10 and I'd give you some tickets.
You're such a generous young man.
My man.
Walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media, they're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
Well, there you have it. You're going to deal with the lying Iranians. More on that in a minute. 580 KIDO traffic. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Kevin. From the Pacific Steel and Recycling Studios, traffic on the freeway looking a lot better now as you're coming out of Canyon County into Ada County. Do have an accident working on Deer Flat right at Meridian. It's off on the right-hand side before you hit the intersection. Watch for some minor delays there. Fence and Lumber is your Cedar Factory outlet, saving you 70% off the big box stores. Now more convenient than ever. Fence and Lumber, now open in Cuna. Online at fenceandlumber.com. I'm Dave Burnett. That's your traffic now on KIDO.
And we'll take more of your calls, your reaction to the end of the Iran war. Your thoughts there. And let me just preface this by building on what you said. The president is trying to get them to speak the language of international commerce along with the Arab states, which in the past have kind of played both sides. So you could say this war has actually gotten them more to our side because the Iranians are attacking them. So they can't play the two-face, if you will. So your reaction to, hey, you can be part of this if you are good Iranians.
I think it's significant in the fact that a lot of the Arab states have turned away from Iran. They don't really want any part of this war, to be very honest with you. I don't feel they do. The key here is to make sure that they don't use their power and money to go back to the old ways, you still have the old group in there. And unless you get a change politically, you're not really going to change that country. And it's run by very few people now. You think about the fact that they control 90 million people. They're less than 1 million themselves. And we continue to allow that to happen. We didn't want a ground war. The only other way we could attack them is from a monetary basis and basically stop the flow of the oil. You should have taken Carg Island, should have taken the oil. You really want to secure everything? That's how you do it. And I think Trump is well aware of that. If they don't agree to do what they're supposed to do and they back off, I do think Carg Island is the next target.
Well, that's again, it's like when you start a roofing project. Once you're committed, and you take, there's no other step after this. I think everybody's all in.
Yeah, the next step after this is to remove the regime altogether, but nobody wants a ground war.
More coming up next with our ground war TPB. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. My dad, Larry Miller. We're going to break down the war. But and in honor of the country western band we're going to hear in a minute, we go to Jared Halpern of Fox News Radio. These are women in their 80s. Jared, they've been asking about you. And I know it was a big weekend at the White House, but it can't compare to these ladies.
That's a high honor. Hopefully I meet that bar.
Well, wait till you hear them in a minute. Jared, an incredible weekend. Where do we begin, sir?
Well, I mean, I think obviously this deal with Iran is something that is going to be the focus. President Trump just landed it was in Switzerland. He landed in France for the G7 summit. And obviously this ceasefire agreement with Iran, this 60-day window to negotiate and reopening the strait and ending the blockade is going to be huge for the global energy supply, the global energy market. We've seen those prices come down. At the same time, even Vice President J.D. Vance this morning suggests that there is still a lot of work to do, a lot of details to work out. He says, while Iran has committed to getting rid of its highly enriched uranium, there's still negotiations about how that's done. Will the U.S. do that? Will Iran do that with somebody watching over it? And there's got to have to be a verification process. What is the timing of sanctions relief and unfrozen assets for Iran? Is it on the front end, as Iran has suggested? Is it on the back end, as the U.S. has suggested? And what about Lebanon? The president said that Lebanon was part of this, that Israeli strikes inside Lebanon would also cease as a part of this deal. We have heard now from some members of the Israeli government that may not entirely be the case. They are going to continue, they say, to carry out strikes against threats to the state of Israel inside Lebanon. And so we'll see how that plays out, because it's important to remember that these were not just U.S. strikes that launched this war with Iran. Israel carried out them with the United States jointly. And so there are going to have to be a lot of layers of coordination here between the Israelis, between the U.S., between Iran, the Pakistanis who are sort of mediating this to make sure everybody is on the same page with what is expected of them and everybody else.
And the drama continues. Jared, I'm going to ask the goofy question here that I'm sure you've gotten hit with all morning long. Were you at the event last night? I saw your boy Brett Baer. What about you? Were you there, Jared?
I was not there. I did not get a ticket, and I kind of stayed away from downtown D.C. because if you didn't have a ticket, it was really hard to even get into the area. I did hear and see some of the flyovers. They kind of buzzed the tower here in my neighborhood, which was cool. So, I was there in spirit, I suppose, because I could hear the flyovers that were wowing the crowd there. But I'll be honest, I watched the NHL Stanley Cup Game 6 final last night. So was not at the White House for fight night, unfortunately.
Two more quick ones. Were you happy with the Canes winning?
No, because I'm a Washington Capitals fan, and we just don't like good things that happen to the Canes. But it's okay. I mean, it's a nice story, and I think everybody's tired of Vegas being there because they've only had a hockey team for like 3 years.
Yeah. And, of course, when you think of Carolina, you got to think of the old Hartford Whale. But finally, as someone who works in the White House every day, were you surprised at how they used that historic facility and just the visuals? And maybe while you were in your work area, you saw just the enormous production. I mean, they had the fighters walking through the White House.
This thing we're calling it the Claw. I mean, because we saw this thing start to get built out over the last several weeks. And so I certainly had the view of kind of watching this come together. And so you saw it kind of start to be constructed, and it would go over it was taller than the White House. And then you'd go into the Oval Office and you'd kind of see how they were building out the stadium and the seating and putting up the boards. And so certainly over the last several weeks, I kind of see this be built. So it was not as shocking, I guess, to see it last night as it was probably for an awful lot of Americans who were seeing this for the first time. But it was a major production. It took a lot of time to put together. I do not know how long it's going to take to bring it down, or, if they're going to kind of keep it on standby if President Trump wants to do another one next year.
Jared, we appreciate you. You take care, sir. Thank you.
Sure thing. Yeah.
There we have it, the band playing Jared's song. All right, more coming up next. Kevin Miller, 580 KIDO. Pastor, always good to see you. We've got Tea Party Bob, my dad, Larry Miller, Ugo, Cowboy Calvin. The gang is all here. So welcome to Idaho, sir.
Oh, that's great to be here. I always look forward to it every year, and it's a really nice place. I love this place. It's quite different.
Oh, Bob will tell you why it's not so great anymore. Bob, go ahead.
Well, it used to be a home away from home, but now it's not quite that. It's more like a shelter where I live.
So you moved out of Boise, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm up in the hinterlands, where I came from when I first got here.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Where do we go from there? I don't know. So you spent your life in service with the Air Force.
Yep.
You've been to Pakistan.
Yep.
You know those people.
Yeah, right. They don't know me, let me tell you.
Well, you were in that hotel that was blown up a year later, right?
Yeah, a year later they blew the whole thing up. They blew up about 3 or 4 months. They blew the front of it off, and about a year later they blew the whole thing up. But that's where is a Marriott. That's where the Americans and the Europeans stayed. It was pretty obvious, but they had security put mirrors under the cars. There was a U-shaped driveway, and still they let a car in right in front of the building. And
yeah, it never seems to bother you that you were in a building that was blown up.
Well, I didn't do a tour over there. I mean, I tried to stay in my lane over there, but everybody had an AK-47 except me. You look out the window, I don't care what time of night it was. There were the guards, 2 or 3 guards walking around, armed guards, and it was just a lot of young men doing nothing that in slum areas around there that you knew was just a boiling pot.
So based on that and part of your duty in the Air Force, by the way, you're an A-10 alumnus, right?
Yes, aircraft maintenance.
Right. It's hard to believe when you see, while you're here, you'll see them flying over. Yeah. They were old back then.
Yeah, they were. They were built for Vietnam, and it's amazing they're still flying. Well, it's B-52, I don't know, 60 years old, something like that, maybe 70. The A-10 is now stretching to 2030.
Yeah, so let me, sorry to interrupt that train of thought, though. So based on your years in the Air Force and everything else, were you surprised that President Trump did the Iranian attacks, and were you surprised with the response? You've been in all these war games, so what did you think?
Well, yeah, I was surprised at the response that they're still going on, that they still had munitions able to hit us at certain times, and those ships. I was surprised the A-10s went over there. The A-10s are not really meant for sea duty, but that's what they're doing over there. And to get an A-10 over there is quite a trip. I mean, you ever sit in a chair in your kitchen? Try sitting that thing for 12 hours and not move. That's pretty tough on the pilots, and let alone they got to be refueled over there. So and they don't usually travel a lot, so we always had problems with the fuel tanks. We never used them, so they sat out there with grass growing around them.
See, typical logistics guy. He's just going into the minute details here.
Right.
We want the overall, again, you've lived through the rise of the Iranian regime, as Bob has, as I have. Were you surprised how it all ended?
Well, no. I think it ended the way it should. I hope it's ended. I hope it's ending the way it should have been. I think President Trump was actually right in going in there and what he did. And I think he was right in bombing them the first time, and he's right in bombing them afterwards. They were on their way to a nuclear bomb, and they would have used it, not only on the Israelis, but on us and Europe. And it was just a matter of time. And they need to get that dust out of there, wherever it's at, or bury it so deep it never comes back again. But they need to look at the logistics of Russia and China. They're bringing stuff in there right now. Need to stop that right now. That's how they've been rebuilding themselves in a little bit of time. You know, as I say over there, we got the watches, they got the time, and they're taking advantage of it right now.
100% right. I agree with them. You know, the more time you give these guys, if you think this is the end, you're very sadly mistaken. You got to remember, the Iranian army is very decentralized, and this is one of the reasons why you see a lot of these one-off missile launches and drone launches taking place, because they don't have a central command that's telling them what to do all the time. They're all basically individual sectors. An interesting way to put an army together, and it's going to be a more difficult time to get everybody to coalesce and deal with the fact that they didn't win this war, nor are they going to win the war, but they're going to continue to fight. This is not a group that's going to stop. It's ingrained in them to continue to battle. They feel this is a holy war. And we've had holy wars going on for 3,500 years. Go back to the Crusades. It's not going to stop here.
But then we have the role of the media saying it's an unnecessary war. We have the Democrats basically cheering against us. And look, I agree with both of you, but you have a lot of younger people that don't believe that we should be allies with Israel anymore. This is a very changing dynamic we're all dealing with.
What the media is saying is what they always say. We don't like Trump. We don't like what he's doing. We want a socialized government here, and we don't care how we get it. So if we can put out more bad news and more things that make him look bad and things that will help us get control of the Senate and the House, that's exactly what they're going to do. It's nothing but a propaganda game, and it's not going to stop until you put them out of business.
Yeah, they're right. And the Democratic Party has gone beyond socialism. As far as I'm concerned, they've gone total communist. And over there, it's not going to stop, like you said, Bob, unless they have regime change. And we say we don't want to do that, but I don't know how else this is going to turn around to get different thinking over there.
Well, the president wants to give them the carrot again through the Abraham Accords and everything else.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You give these people an inch, and they're going to take them out. They'll come back somehow. And as long as Russia, I said, and China are still supplying them, they'll clandestine do it. And maybe next time they'll just concentrate on conventional weapons. And if they think that's the way to do it, that's the way they'll do it. So if we need peace in that region over there. They even turn on their own kind over there. That's the kind of animals they are.
Well, as we move along here, Bob, I think you got some ladies there looking at you there. They're getting all goo-goo-eyed. But, a generational thing, let me ask you this. This is what I love about my dad. When he comes in, he goes, it's not hi, good to see you. He goes, grab that bag. Grab that bag, boy. Get in there. And then he's like looking at his watch the whole time. So we're going to only have him for a little bit more because you want to go in there and watch the slack. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, whatever's going on.
Yes,
I
know
don't have any horses around where I'm at.
Right, I understand that. So let me ask you both about your generation. For years, the boomers have dominated. Now you have a lot of people banging on the boomers, the millennials, the Gen Z. You'll love this one. My famous quote from Matt, you and your boomer friends. So as your generation is still with us, what do you make of the anti-boomer rhetoric going on?
I know. I look back. I don't believe the 50s were the greatest time of my life. I'm just so fortunate to have lived there. I mean, it was a time when everything was great and war was over. America is again on the rise. I mean, you know, you had fast cars, muscle cars. You had, you know, sock hops.
Well, now you got electric cars.
Electric cars.
You got 4-cylinder cars.
Yeah. Who likes the sound of an electric car? You get that rumble of a V8. There ain't nothing more American than that. Like a cowboy, it's American, and you know, and we need to be. That needs to be more American stuff needs to be going on in this country, and we need to promote it every turn we got. I don't care what they say, what they do. We need America first.
Well, you were talking about the future, though. The future without the boomers.
Yeah, the future of the boomers. The boomers set this up. We brought this to being right now in America as we know it. Yes, it's being divided by them. And it started with Obama, and it's even worse, you know. How can we be a country, one nation under God, if we separate us and divide us? And every chance they get, they divide us on every line they can find. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm going a little stronger, Kevin, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, we're not really used to that, are we?
You know, we lived a life for real. Everybody now in this world lives a life through virtual everything. I mean, it's electronic. You watch it on TV. You look at it on your computer. You have it in your pocket on your phone. You don't live life. Yeah. We did. I was out there drag racing when I was 17 years old in my 1954 Mercury. Okay, blowing my transmission once a week. It's a different world here. These people, they have been taught that those are not good things to do, so don't do them. And who taught them? The teachers in our schools, who are basically the liberal factions of the world. They've been there for 60 years. They've turned this whole place into a whole different scenario. America is not what it used to be in the 50s and the 60s even. And it started to change in the 60s and the 70s. Yes. And a lot of people can't see that.
Yeah, but it's the end of the run for you guys.
That's okay. I had a good run, and I'm going to continue running until I wear my shoes out.
Well, fair enough. All right, more coming up on Boomer Today with Kevin Miller at the Buckaroo Breakfast, 580 KIDO. Well, we'll definitely have to have you on tomorrow. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. There we have it, a one-sided conversation, which isn't good for us. Do you want to describe what just happened?
I wasn't looking, but I looked up and I saw this beautiful girl standing next to you, which is strange, but...
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason why we don't have him on the air a lot there, Tea Party Bob.
So he's got a good comment.
Yeah, exactly. He's a little too quick for the room. So, yeah. So look at you. How old are you?
82.
Yeah, and you're playing with your phone.
Yeah,
what kind of person are you doing this?
See how long I've gone? I mean, we used to have pen and pencil. That's how I wrote.
He's playing with his little games on his phone here.
No games. This is. I'm going to read you a little stanza of one of my poems.
See, hold on. Yeah. Here's the deal with him.
Yeah, see.
Hold on. My parents don't come out here to see me. They come out for the rodeo. And here's the other secret. They're both show stealers. Now, Tea Party Bob, you are the show, and we love you. See, my dad never wants to come on. And now he wants to do us with his cowboy poetry propaganda. We'll get to you in a minute. Like one of the few times in my life where you actually still listen to me, and I'll pay for this later. But you get it, don't you, Tea Party Bob?
I think you're in a conversion process with him. I think eventually there'll be a transition, and he'll move out here, but not until the whole place looks like New Hampshire.
Oh, yes.
You get more trees.
Yeah, exactly. More trees and more libs.
You want trees, my friend? Come to my house. I got lots of them.
Yeah, yes, exactly. By the way, here we are. We're here until 10 today. The Buckaroo Breakfast, Snake River Stampede, proudly supporting the 4-H clubs of Canyon County. Great fundraiser, great breakfast. By the way, you both had the breakfast. How was it?
Pretty good. Excellent. And the price was great, right on, and the cooks did fantastic. You know?
Yeah.
Love to see those little kids over there cooking.
But you can see inflation hit here, too. $7 instead of $6, you know.
Yeah, it was $5.
Oh, it was $6 last year, I think.
Well, I wasn't here last year.
That's right.
Yeah. Now I'm back. I'm glad you both enjoyed the breakfast. Okay, so here I thought he wanted to enjoy our conversation about the world events. He just wants to do his poetry.
That's right.
He's a poet.
No, we're talking about our age now, and so I wrote this.
He's older than I am, though.
A lot.
No, 1 year.
1 year.
I was trying to give you something.
Right in the middle of the war. I don't know how my dad did that.
Oh my gosh! Are you going to give us?
Oh yes. Okay. Look, this is part of our generation. I wrote this to example our generation. This is just one.
This is the boomers.
Yeah.
By the way, but before you go, that nobody likes the boomers.
Everybody likes the boomers.
Everybody
I
hates
like the boomers.
You know what they don't like about us?
The boomers used to be the big time until the millennials came along.
We are realistic.
Yeah.
We look at the real world.
You guys were burning bras and smoking dope and all that stuff.
I never wore a bra in my life.
And I never smoked any dope in my life.
Don't make a statement you can't back up.
No, in our day.
Thank you for that full disclosure. What about you? Did you ever wear a bra?
Nope, no
Did you ever
thanks.
burn a bra?
No, not
Okay.
into it.
But you both wore bell bottoms and polyester.
I did wear bell bottoms.
Yeah, I had some nice polyester suits too.
Yeah, polyester suits.
That's painful.
And the Nehru jackets, you got to remember those.
I don't know why I wore them. Can't stand looking at that picture.
Yes. Well, go ahead, please.
Okay, let's just one stanza.
The Ode to the Boomers.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
This was, I call this When Men Were Men. When men were men and women were feminine.
Wait a minute, you're saying men aren't men anymore?
That's the way it looked. Yes, right.
You say that to anybody out here?
Not out here. That's why. When men were men and women were feminine, when death do us part and 10 commandments were divine, when Ozzie loved Harriet and father knew best, when mom stayed home and dad did the rest, when beer was a drink and whiskey was a test. So that's just when men were men and women were mysterious, and the lady in red was betrayal and Dillinger was dangerous, when gas was cheap and a V8 was muscle, when Elvis was idle and job was a puzzle, when a hookup was a tow and liquor was quicker.
I like it.
I think that's AI.
No, that's not. There's no AI in that.
He's a little too defensive, if you ask me.
No, I think he's very classic.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you boomers all stay together.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice.
When men were men and whiskey was bourbon, when challenges were problems and the truth was certain, when right triumphed
Wait a
wrong.
minute. Didn't you just do this one?
No. When right triumphed
Wait a minute. You're
wrong.
doing a second verse. I think we've had enough of this, haven't we?
One more. And when right triumphed wrong, and your word was your bond. When a look in an eye meant trust in the guy. When one resolved misery was a stiff shot of whiskey.
I don't know. I used to drink a lot.
Yeah. You'd have to drink a lot for that one. All right.
All right.
Anything else you'd like to share with us now that you've revealed yourself here?
Yeah,
the show stealer.
I the last event, Military Officers Association, we had an event. I quoted.
Wait a minute, we're going back to you again?
Yeah, go me again. I
hold on. What do you make of this?
I quoted Ernest Hemingway.
I think it's a classic.
He just keeps going. Yes.
Yeah. I quoted Ernest Hemingway.
Yes.
There's two things a young man should never delay. Never delay opening a good bottle of whiskey, and never delay kissing a pretty girl. And I personally kissed a pretty girl for 53 years, your mom, in the morning and night. So.
Well, fair enough. Thank you for that. Yes. All right. There we have it. Larry Miller, appreciate that. We move on. Tea Party Bob, how do we top that one?
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty tough. The 53 years is really tough.
Exactly. More coming up next. We'll just keep it here. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So we take a look at where do we go from here. Let's play some clips from J.D. Vance, and we'll talk about a few other things as well. He will be on The View coming up. In addition to that, he says this is a good deal.
The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media. They're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
What do you make of that, TPB?
Oh, I think we're probably going to merge some of our local liberal stations with some of the Iranian stations, and then we'll have really up-to-date news on what's going on over there.
What about you, Poet Guy?
Oh, yeah, Al Jazeera ought to come right on every night at 5 o'clock and maybe 11 o'clock, yeah. That's that'll clear up everything. We won't need any of those legacy stations anymore when that happens.
You know, we are seemingly dependent on the, on our Arab friends. You've been in that region. What do you say? No, don't swear. They don't swear.
They gave us our numbers, and that's about it. I mean, when they stopped being Persian, that's when they lost all their dignity.
Sure.
And they need to go back to that.
All right, we're going to get you out on this one.
What?
We're going to get you out on this one.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I saw that one happen. I was amazed at. Okay.
You got a comment on that?
No, I'm not commenting on that.
Why are you laughing? You taught me to respect authority.
I didn't expect that fellow to say that because it shocked me when he did.
I think the comment speaks for itself.
Yeah, right. I think it does.
Was it appropriate?
Don't care whether it's appropriate or not. It was said.
It was a fight.
Yes, and it still is.
Yeah, right.
All right, fair enough. Dad, I love you. Thank you.
Okay, good to be here. See you later.
All right, there we go. I got to tell you, I don't think that was a good move.
Your opinion. Everybody has opinions.
More insight coming up next. 580 KIDO.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I don't know how you can defend that.
I don't have to. Why would I want to?
Well, I mean,
somebody has an opinion. Everybody has.
Why don't you ask me?
Why don't you
ask?
it?
You know, why don't you ask me? What I think of it.
Have you ever heard all of the things that they have said about Trump?
Doesn't make it right.
Of course, it doesn't.
Doesn't make it right.
By the same token, you don't have a say in the issue.
Well, I guess since I ask you everything and you're not going to reciprocate my generosity or my...
I asked you, what do you think of it?
You said it doesn't matter what I think. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I think it makes us all look bad. And, look, I tell you, the Obamas did a number on me. That's why I'm here. But it allows us to be positioned a certain way. Now, for the core, the base... For the people that eat the red meat, this is great. And you know how it is. Look, they called Bush Hitler. They did a lot to us, but I think it makes us look bad. Now, was it entertaining?
There's a time to be nice, and there's a time not to be nice.
What do you mean? It had nothing to do with politics, though. He's at the White House. He's a guest. And you disrespect the former First Lady. It's like when they go after Trump. It's doing the same thing, is it not?
Exactly. That's the world we live in nowadays. It's changed completely.
Well, I refuse to see that.
And I know you don't want to see it. I see it all the time, though.
Yeah. Well, I think we could do a little better, if you will.
We can always do a little bit better. The question is, do we want to?
Well, again, I think when we're trying to bring more people into the fold, to do that. Now, again, this guy doesn't give a rip about politics. He's just there to get clicks.
Sure.
You know?
That's what I keep saying. Everything is clicks. Everything is social media. Everything is sound bites. That's how things move around nowadays.
That's not how it was in the Boomer day, was it?
No, of course it wasn't.
Yeah.
And we never would say things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's a changing world.
or was just a colossal mistake. No, we are not any better off. I think Ayman summed it up quite well. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz wasn't on the table. The Arab neighbors had not been attacked by Iran. Now they have. And basically, we're sort of back where we were when we started. No clear nuclear deal.
So here we have this nowhere congressman from Washington, Adam Smith, that the liberal loons have made a star, commenting, saying the war was a colossal mistake. We're not better off. Well, we've given the Iranians time to do something. We've given them a chance to be a part of the Abraham Accords. We've given them a chance to be a part of the community, but it's kind of tough when you're asking someone who's been without indoor plumbing to embrace a bidet.
Go back to 47 years ago, okay? Carter had an opportunity to change things. He couldn't do it. He didn't have the you-know-what to do it.
Well, and our military wasn't as proficient as it is now either.
But neither was theirs. They didn't have a military as such.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
They would have been an easy takeout. But nobody wanted to do it in that administration. I blame him for the whole darn thing.
Well, our great friend Stephen, he couldn't get a ride, but we'll see if he can come back tomorrow, Stephen in Nampa. But again, this plays into it. Alex Jones had it right with the name InfoWars.
Exactly.
It's not about the truth anymore. It's about what people are led to believe. And many people, look, here we have another Congressman Moulton.
It's so important that we put this to an end.
Also important, let's move on to the potential agreement to end the Iran war. President Trump just moments ago posting on Truth Social that it is scheduled to be signed tomorrow. The proposal reportedly establishes a 60-day ceasefire leading to another far more complicated negotiation that could take months, but it would reopen the Strait of Hormuz to global shipping. Does ending the chokehold on the strait alone make this deal worth it?
No. This is a terrible deal. It's basically a surrender document from Donald Trump to the supreme leader of Iran. $100 billion of taxpayer money already put into this war, 14 Americans dead, and we get a deal that just reopens a strait that was already open before he started this stupid war? How is that a win, Alex?
Well, MS Now reports the MOU, as described by a senior administration official.
More on that in a minute. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Steve and Hayden with Kevin Miller and Tea Party Bob. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Bob. I agree with you that comment was unfortunate, and it really kind of just is one more thing that the left can use to attack this administration and everything. But at the same time, the thing that it's going to happen now is that all we're going to hear every time Trump does an interview is, do you disavow that comment? And the point is that Trump didn't make that comment. And I hope he just handles it that way and just says, he's entitled to his opinion. I wouldn't have said it and just move on. But my question is why was that an offensive comment? We've heard for the last 6 years that, being transgender is the best thing since sliced bread. So why is accusing somebody of being transgender an insult? I thought that would be a compliment to the left these days. Or is the offense that he potentially misgendered her?
You're a smart guy, Steve. You know the deal.
Oh, I do know the deal. I know it puts heat on, but I'm just throwing it out there to the liberal seeds of the world is why is that an offensive comment when all we've heard for the last, since Biden was elected, is that, being transgender is great and everybody should have an opportunity. And, it is Pride Month. Maybe Mike will use this as an opportunity to finally set the record straight.
Hey, listen. Everything used to be pretty much black and white. Today, everything is a shade of gray. It's how you look at it, it's who you are, and it's what you want to be. There is no black and white anymore. They've changed all of that.
It is unfortunate that, this is just more noise that we don't need coming into the midterms. And that previous congressman, I don't know how he even knows what's in the Iran deal. It hasn't been made public yet, but he seems to know that it's a terrible deal. So this is just a distraction. The war is ending, but this is a great distraction for the left now to not talk about how the world might have just gotten a little safer and a little better. Now they can focus on, what's Big Mike, a boy or a girl.
You have to laugh when you look at what's going on in this country just with the fraud alone. We're going to find well over $100 billion in fraud that's been taking place here if they haven't found it already. So my point is, when a congressman gets up and says, we spent $100 million on the war in Iran, we spent $300 billion just on the one in Ukraine, and that was from Biden. Thank you very much. You need to listen to everything. You can't just listen to their fine points, because most of them don't understand what they're talking about.
And $100 billion in this day and age is just a rounding error. And the other point I would make about military action is every time we engage in military action, we get a little bit better. So I'm sure we've learned a lot in this conflict that we will improve our military, and it'll be even better next time.
Well, again, I'll see how it goes. Steve, anything else? I wish you were here at the Snake River Stampede at the Buckaroo Breakfast.
I'll stay up here in North Idaho where it's nice and green.
Yeah, not a lot of green here anymore.
You have a great week, Kevin.
Thank you, Steve. Always appreciate Steve listening in Hayden, Idaho.
Good guy.
Good guy. So again, this is our challenge. We've got the media attacking again and again and again this deal. Whether it's a great deal or not, they're going to tell everybody it's a bad deal.
What did you think was going to happen? Did you really think they were going to come out and tell the truth? They don't know what the truth is, first of all. They don't know what the agreement reads. They haven't seen it. And I don't think they're probably ever going to get a full look at it, what's involved. So how can they make decisions and tell you this is happening or that is happening? They don't know. They make this garbage up day in and day out. That's why I turn it off. I don't listen to it. Once in a while when I tune in, I sit there and I can't stop laughing.
Well, we will see how that plays out. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Tea Party Bob and I, as we continue on breaking down this deal. Also, Congress is going to come back. The whole idea of whether or not we're going to pass the Save America Act, that hasn't been done. It doesn't look like it's going to get done.
I'm very seriously concerned about that, because without it, we are going to have even more serious problems with the voting in this country. You've got 10 million new ones in that you can bet they're going to try and get them to vote.
Well, yeah, that's been going on for quite some time, unfortunately. And, here we have the state of Idaho where we have our own challenges with immigration.
Look, like I said before, when you have 5 constitutional officers in your state government who stand up for someone who actually wants to give illegals, driver's licenses.
You go get a drink. I'll be back in a minute. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Seriously, just go grab a drink. We've got a couple minutes. Tea Party Bob joining us here, but one of the things we are talking about is, again, we still got a little less than an hour to get the Buckaroo Breakfast rolling, is, immigration. Still a challenge, and the Republicans have had the best shot ever when we're looking at taking down the illegals, taking down things, but you've had powerful interests that have stopped it. And then you have conflicts going on within the Republican Party and everything else. On one hand, you could talk about Senator Guthrie. On the other hand, Senator Guthrie was reelected because the money and the prestige all went with him. Breaking up this a little news here, Idaho farmers and producers are facing rising costs of doing business. While national sports systems seem to be outdated, advocates are pushing for an updated farm bill to address these challenges, including crop loss programs, financial assistance, and conservative incentives. The House passed a 2026 bill, now under consideration in the Senate. The bill covers a wide range of agricultural programs and provisions, including risk management for specialty crops and funding for export markets. Now, the legislation aims to provide certainty for farmers and to ensure a steady food supply for consumers. I'll tell you a funny story. I did an article on the screwworm. You familiar with the screwworm?
I am.
So I did an article on the Screw Room, actually sourced everything. And one of my bosses actually got ripped by 3 or 4 people for that article. And then I had a guy email me saying my article was factually inaccurate. No, it's not inaccurate. The screwworm is a challenge, and the screwworm has been known to go after pets as well. Now, hopefully Brooke Rollins and FDA will do something about it, but it's fascinating how sensitive people are when you're talking about just the screwworm.
Has to do with our food supply, and that's what worries them. You know, it's no different than anything that attacks a herd of cattle or chickens. You remember the millions of chickens they killed because 2 or 3 had bird flu.
Well, yeah, Joe Biden wiped out the chicken supply.
Exactly. That's why your eggs got to be so expensive, for crying out loud.
Yeah. No, really. So, again, something to ponder.
I'm not going to screw around with that one.
You're not going to touch the screwworm?
No, that's not my field of expertise, so to speak.
Yeah, but the idea of just criticizing me for writing this article, which, again, was regurgitating national stories, and he had a quote from Brooke Rollins. And I got to give it to her. This thing has been eradicated since the 60s, and because of Biden's policies, what happened next? They're back.
It's a cancel culture world, my friend, and you're going to continue to get criticism from whatever you put out. There's always somebody who wants to be a critic. I get it all the time with Jim State in the comment section. I listen to it. I read through it. It just continues to come in. You've got your naysayers every place.
Yeah, but you're talking about the screwworm, and I'm just enamored with that name, the screwworm.
I don't know.
The New World screwworm.
The New World screwworm.
Not to be confused with the
old world screwworm.
Right. Not to be confused with that, but that is how it's rolling as well. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. As we move along, anything else you would like to share as we're here?
No, I'm glad to see that there's something that's changed. I'm waiting for the gas prices to come back down because every time I come down here, it's a $50 to $75 trip for me.
Well, you're big money, Bob.
Yeah, right. Inflation hits everybody right in the pocketbook.
Yeah, I would say. No final thoughts because I'll take it. I'll bring it home after this. So
I think it's a pleasure to be down here. It's great to see all these people here for the rodeo. And I thank you for my time, as usual.
Well, we appreciate it. I think you have some people that want to talk to you, so we'll let you go to your crowd, and I'll bring this home as we move along. Thank you, TPP.
Don't know where the time went.
I know. We'll see TPP back tomorrow. By the way, some other news that we'll bring you here. I'm sure someone will have already blogged about this on one of our numerous sites, but a black bear was found in a tree in Nampa, prompting an unusual call to police, Idaho Fish and Game, and the Nampa Fire Department. They assisted in bringing the bear down with tranquilizers. The bear was then transported back to the wilderness in Fish and Game's Bearmobile to ensure that it was far away from the city. So there we have it, one of the wonderful reasons why people are living here and moving here to Idaho. And let me just say, as we wrap up this program, I do want to remind everybody we'll be back tomorrow. And as we take a look at what's going on in America and what's going on in the world, just to let you know that in Idaho and in Nampa, we do have the ability of families coming together. We do have the ability to see good, old-fashioned, traditional American values. You may not get that in Boise. You may not get that in other parts of the state, but you sure get it here in Nampa, in Canyon County. And, yeah, there are other parts of the state. There are other parts where you have people that are continuing to do this. And you think to yourself, well, Kevin, that used to be the norm. And because the media lies to us, because we have the liberal loons, they position the abnormal as the norm now. They position the abnormal as this is how it is. And you see nobody out here but me. In the old days, we used to have TV stations, and I would urge the TV stations to actually, instead of pretending to care about the community, come out and cover this Buckaroo Breakfast. Maybe we can get them to come out. When Larry was here, Larry would come out. And because people followed what Larry did, he would have, Channel 2, Channel 6. Really, we miss something when these events aren't covered. I can remember when I first came out here, there were 2 or 3 radio stations, 4 or 5, and now we're back. We're the only ones here, and we're not getting any compensation for this. We're here because it's about people, and it's about showing you that we're still here, showing you that the community still cares, showing you that America is not over. Whether you're a boomer, an Xer, Gen Xer, millennial, or in fact a Gen Z, or what is it after them, Gen Alpha, I suppose. You can't be a critic all the time. I like to talk about the Boise Music Festival. That's a free event. All you have to do is listen to win. You can buy tickets. We want to see you there. But that's our commitment to you. A free event. The Balloon Classic. Thank you to Micron. Thank you to our supporters that let that happen, our partners that let that happen. It still thrives in Idaho, although you won't hear it anywhere else. So again, whether it's the Rodeo Queens, it's Hal, it's my parents, it's Tea Party Bob, Ugo, it's a community. And again, we always appreciate you being here for us. Some people talk it, we like to walk it. So we're here tomorrow. You're invited. I can smell the eggs cooking right now and the sausage. Good day. God bless. Keep the faith. And Kevin Miller loves you.
There are two types of business owners, those who are busy and those who want to be busy. Toast is designed for both, with tools to keep you humming and help turn grind into growth. That's how you turn busy into business. Toast, built for busy.
Today on the pod, we're talking to Megan, trapeze artist and Scratchers enthusiast. So, Megan, what do you like about playing Scratchers?
Well, they're easy to play when I'm hanging around.
Oh, okay. Like when you're relaxing?
No, like when I'm hanging on the trapeze. I swing upside down, then do a quadruple somersault, all while playing a Scratchers. Watch this. Ta-da!
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase player claim.